Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Taberry here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says, "Oh."
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a First Friday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Loaded up here on a First Friday. It's a Hey Guys First Friday. Get those questions into the fellows. You can do so via the YouTube chat. You can do so via the X social media platform. The winner there gets the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. Jake Trotter going to stop by at 10:30. Adam Jardy on a big one tonight for the Buckeye basketball team. I did want to start with the news yesterday of Tiger Woods announcing that he underwent surgery for a ruptured Achilles tendon. I think we've all been hesitant to say what it is because we want to return to what he was. And the reality is this is now a 49-year-old man who has had several significant surgeries on his body. And maybe we're all in a little bit of denial about that. And maybe we should have called this off a long time ago. But I think he was probably and is probably the most consequential athlete of my adulthood. When I think about the impact that he had on professional golf, an impact that we got to touch here in Central Ohio as he won the Memorial Tournament 5 times. If you've been to the Memorial Tournament, which is just a diamond on our sports calendar every single year, if you've been to it when Tiger is participating and when he is not, the difference is staggering. It just is. Even in the years when he wasn't at his best, if he played, it felt different. When he drove onto the grounds, there was a whisper. Was that Tiger? Did Tiger drive? Is that Tiger? That type of stuff. As he walked to the driving range, he would always go all the way to the far. If you were looking at the driving range out at Muirfield, he would always go to the far left all by himself. Beam can attest to this. He had his own balls that he would hit, the special Tiger balls. Everybody else would hit Pro V1s or whatever, but he had his own that were ones just for him. When he would walk up to the first tee, the crowds were just staggering. He had so many moments at Jack's Place that just absolutely are memories that are forever ingrained in my head. The first time I saw Tiger Woods in person was the 03 Bay Hill, an event that he won. I don't think it's a coincidence that he was dominant at Jack and Arnie's events. He won this one 5 times. He won Bay Hill 8. It mattered to him to be great amongst greatness. It was something that mattered a great deal to him. And the fact that we got to touch him so often here is just a remarkable thing. Tiger Woods in professional golf was not a spoke on a wheel. He was the damn wheel. When he was there or when he was not was dramatically different. I think one of the things that's pretty remarkable about what he did from an inspiration standpoint is if you look at Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas and Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson, that entire Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, all of them, their inspiration for greatness to be golfers, if you ask any one of them to a man, would say Tiger. He was the inspiration. You did not see professional golfers being that physically fit. He changed that. He made it cool to lift. He made it cool to be in shape. He made it cool to press what the body could do while playing golf and how health could benefit that. And obviously that went off the rails as his life did from time to time. But even in his flaws, there was a humanization to him. And God, who can forget the moment here where he played by himself in the final round and walked the Memorial Tournament by himself? That image in the dispatch. you're never going to forget it. Kyle Robertson, pretty sure Kyle took that picture. Either him or Neil, the late great Neil C. Laurent took that picture in the Dispatch of Tiger walking down the first fairway by himself. You went, my God, what has happened here?
He almost jogged down the 18th. I know he had back surgery later that year, but it was like as fast as he could run. Because I remember coming out early for that because he was by himself on Sunday morning, and it was just Tiger. And the gallery for that was still pretty big for early on a Sunday morning, and it was... That's the Tiger moment I think I'm going to remember the most, is him trying to run as fast as he could, again, with the back issues that he was dealing with at the time, down the 18th fairway to try to get the hell out of there. Yeah,
but he played it. I mean, he didn't withdraw. He played by himself. One of the greatest players of all time, played by himself. I'm thankful that my kids got to see him win the Masters the last time. I'll never forget after he did what it was. I didn't know if he would still have that Tiger inspirational magic the way that he did for a previous generation, but he did. They set out the net and they went and hit balls into the net, pounded balls into the net on a Sunday after watching him win, and they looked for red T-shirts or polos to go wear while doing it. A generation was inspired by it. Also, I think it has to be noted that where we are in that sport now, how it is severed and all of these things that have happened since, there is a little bit of Michael Jordan to him in that my greatness is my gift. I'm not going to broker deals. I'm not going to, and he's tried to have various roles in some of this stuff. And I suppose him holding firm with the PGA Tour is part of the reason that it survived the attempted takeover by LIV is perhaps him not taking the $1 billion from LIV to, which I think would have probably crippled the tour. He didn't do that. But the point of all of this is at age 49, when you rupture an Achilles, it's done. It's done. And I don't think anybody wanted to say it. I don't know if people still want to say it because you just hope that he can rekindle some sort of magic. We've seen Phil Mickelson win a major, into his 50s, into his 40s. You've seen that. You saw Tom Watson at the Open Championship a few years ago. I mean, it's been more than a few years ago now, kind of be in the mix on 18 to try to win it when I want to say he was into his 60s. AR and Beam would know for sure. But I want to say into his 60s. So you could have these magical moments that pop up. But the idea of a 49-year-old man now having an Achilles surgery coming off of all of the other things that have happened to him, it's hard to imagine now that we can do anything other than to say, as a competitive player, it's done.
Especially not knowing exactly how he ruptured the Achilles, but wondering if he did it during a TGL event. That was where my head went first yesterday when seeing the news. I was like, well, if he's getting it, if his body's failing him at TGL events, there's no way he's going to be able to keep pace and comfortably move PGA events down fairways. I mean, I've always been on if Tiger wants a cart, give Tiger a cart, but Tiger won't ever let Tiger have a cart. And it's something I've always wondered, at least in the past 5 years, if he had a cart, maybe we're having different stories and maybe there's a couple different Sunday memories of Tiger because it's just so much less stress on his body. Like if you think you've ever walked Muirfield, even as a patron, like that puts stress on the body. If you walk a full 18, walk a full 18 Thursday, walk a full 18 Friday, walk a full 18 Saturday, walk a full 18 Sunday, anywhere in the country, really, on the course that PGA plays at, ow.
Yeah. I'm not sure we were ever going to get Tiger Woods in a senior tour event. No. But if Tiger Woods wants to play competitive golf again and be there and chances, have a chance to possibly win, I think that's the route now. It was going to be few and far between him competing on the PGA Tour anyway because he couldn't play a full schedule all the time because of the limitations already from the car wreck and back surgeries and whatnot. I wonder if this will at least give us Tiger on the senior tour.
I don't think so. I think your initial thoughts on it are correct. I think you'll see him probably play the Masters. I mean, he's going to have exemptions forever on this stuff. So, I'm sure he'll play the Masters. He'll play some majors and try to rekindle something. Freddie Couples did that for a while. I'm not putting him in the same category of Tiger. But
Bernhard Langer.
Yeah, you could, kind of hang around, just be crafty and hang around. You can't win it, but you can be in the mix. Just think about this from him. It is believed that he has had 6 surgeries on his lower back in the last 10 years. This is the second time that he's seriously injured an Achilles. At the 2010 Masters, he revealed he tore his right Achilles in 2008 and hurt it again several times in 2009, yet continued to play. He suffered serious injuries in his right leg, foot, and ankle in that car crash. I mean, he has had so many different things. He had a subtalar fusion procedure in April of 23 to address post-traumatic arthritis in his right ankle that caused injuries suffered in a car wreck. One would say when he was young that no one had ever swung a club more violently than he did. And this is the consequence of that the human body is not meant to torque the way that he did. But God, it was fun while it lasted. It was really fun when it's lasted. And I do think, unlike in other sports where you say this guy will have next, there is no next Tiger. He was one of one. And his competitive career is one of one. Him versus Jack is always an interesting conversation. We'll dabble on that. I do have some thoughts in terms of trying to put that into proper perspective. They are certainly 1 and 1A, and I think Jack's probably 1. But I think when you have that conversation, there's some nuance to it. We can get into that coming up next. The Blue Jackets, boy, on the road, it's a struggle. And it was again last night as they were not up for it to start this game in Jersey. We will get to that as well. And a monster game for Jake Diebler and the basketball Buckeyes coming up tonight. We are off and running on a First Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Leases on approved credit. No security deposit required. Tax, tags, title, and dealer fees extra. Ends April 1st.
I'm Rick Reichert. If the calendar says March and there's basketball on TV, it can only mean one thing. Markdown madness at number 1, Reichert Ford. Reichert Ford has sold vehicles to every state in the nation. And we'll sell you one too. Lease new 2024 F-150S TX for just $399 a month for 36 months. 0 down. Plus, you get Reichert Ford's exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty, because we're dealing. Saving money is a slam dunk at Reichert Ford. Lease new 2024 Bronco Sport for just $399 a month for 36 months. 0 down. Plus, Reichert Ford's exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty. It's madness. Markdown madness at the number 1 largest volume Ford dealer in Ohio, Reichert Ford. At Route 33 and Hamilton Road, 2 minutes off 270, and at ReichertFord.com. We're dealing.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Based on 2024 Ford report for total new retail sales. Cincinnati region. Leases on approved credit. No security deposit required. Tax, tags, title, and dealer fees extra. Ends April 1st.
I'm Carl. I'm 68 years old, and I lost 40 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. And looking at pictures, I realized that my color wasn't good. I looked bloated, constantly tired, out of breath. It got to the point where I decided it was time to pick up the phone and call Awaken 180. The combination of the diet and the coaching really pushed me over the top. My self-confidence soared. I'm walking, I'm working out. Instead of 68, I feel like I'm 28. I just had my annual physical, and my doctor looked at my blood pressure and he said, "What did you do? What happened?" And I explained that I'm on the Awaken 180 program. I've never felt so good in my life. And as somebody that sometimes likes to take the shortcut, I didn't have to do that with this program. Awaken 180 is my solution for weight loss.
Carl's solution for weight loss. My solution for weight loss. Scotty Vegas here. Lower blood pressure. Increase confidence. Feeling years younger. Want the same results? Then do what we did and make your own 180 at awaken180weightloss.com.
Save more green this St. Patrick's Day at Meijer. Enjoy Meijer corned beef, just $3.99 a pound. Red potatoes are $3.99 for a 5-pound bag. Enjoy an ice-cold Coca-Cola or Pepsi product. 12 packs are now on sale. Buy 2, get 1 free. Plus deposit where applicable. And Loft House decorated sugar cookies are only $3.99. We're working hard to bring more goodness to your St. Patrick's Day celebration at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
Next on Metro's Nada Yada Island podcast.
I almost fainted when the 4 new bombshells arrived. 4 free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G phones at Metro.
No way.
And finding out the 4th line is free. Oh, things got heated.
That's wild. Join Metro and get 4 free Samsung 5G phones. Only at Metro.
Plus tax. Bring 4 numbers and an ID and sign up for any Metro Flex plan. Not available currently at T-Mobile or been with Metro in the past 180 days.
The Blue Jackets are making a push for the playoffs, and they can't wait to fire the cannon right in your face. Wait, that was a touch violent. I'll try again. It would be helpful to chart their progress right here on The Fan. Thank you kindly.
Some foot issues just can't be fixed by those expensive shoe stores or shoe inserts. A foot exam from a doctor of podiatric medicine, who is the medical expert in foot and ankle care, may give solutions after doing a complete foot examination. If you suffer from foot, heel, or ankle pain, let us help you find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Feeling the aches and pains of everyday life slowing you down? Introducing Blue Emu, America's #1 emu oil formula for pain relief. In a recent clinical trial, 91% of users saw improvement after using Blue Emu. Whether you're working hard, playing harder, or just staying active, Blue Emu penetrates deep to relieve joint and muscle pain fast. And best of all, you won't stink. Join the 91% who felt the difference. Find Blue Emu at your local retailer or online. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, another beauty of a day today. Sunny skies, highs around 70. You will notice a few more clouds creeping in this afternoon. Tonight's low 43. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 70. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Join Bobby Mack and Jody Shelley for the Inside Edge, a behind-the-scenes look at all things Blue Jackets.
Wednesday night at 7.
Your home for Jackets hockey, The Fan. Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, or whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
You know, when you have the Tiger Jack conversation, it's tricky because how many of us out there saw Jack play? I mean, you have to be a man in 40 at least to even have a little memory of 86 at Augusta. That's the best that's the best you're going to do. So in terms of seeing Jack play, there's so little of it that so few of us out there who can even remember it. I do remember 86, very young, but I do remember it and him winning there. But it was very similar to Tiger winning his last time. You know, it was very much felt like, okay, one more run at this thing and let's do it. I guess, so when you have those conversations, it's almost impossible. I think the thing with Tiger is his best was probably the best we've ever seen anybody do anything athletically. And I think that the way you can back that up is for a significant amount of time, and I still think he holds most of these, Tiger Woods not only had a set of circumstances where he owned not only the lowest score in relationship to par at all four majors, but also the largest victory margin at all four majors. Now, I don't think he holds those anymore. I think there's been a couple have been bopped off. But the fact that he had the lowest score in relationship to par and also had the largest victory margin at all four, that's a level of greatness that you can't even wrap your head around. And I think for a shorter time period, Tiger's greatness was greater. Jack's a little bit like LeBron. I mean, the 18 majors stand on their own, and he is. No one's going to sit up here and argue he's not the greatest of all time. I think he is. He had the combination of greatness and longevity that Tiger did not have. Tiger had a burst that was really unprecedented. And when he won at Torrey on one leg, there wasn't anybody who thought he wasn't going to get to 25 majors. Nobody. Nobody knew what was going to come, over Thanksgiving with a 7-iron to the side of the head. Nobody knew that. You had no clue that was coming. But that derailed all of it. That took a guy who, and golf is such a mental game, it took a guy who, when he would walk onto a golf course, there were whispers, "Oh my God, it's Tiger Woods." And people just in awe of him, to when he would walk to a golf course going, "Oh my God, that's Tiger Woods. Did you hear what he was doing? Did you read about this? Did you see this?" Just a traumatic, incredible difference. And it led to one of the greatest players of all time having yips and crazy things that happened after that. So it was really cool to see him get it back again and win the Masters the last time. But I guess that's kind of where I stand on it, that his comet of greatness is the greatest that we've ever seen in the sport. And I think you could make an argument that for a period of time, he was better at golf than anyone's been at anything athletically.
Yeah. Yeah, that you have the right read on that. And I think for me, Tiger Woods in an era with South Park, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Bill Goldberg being titans of entertainment, he was able to make golf interesting to the general public. Like he was able in the late 90s and the early 2000s, able to kind of break through that ceiling set by those kind of iconic characters and still make golf one of the most relevant things for 20 plus years. And that's a Herculean effort. I don't think could have ever been foreseen or will ever be duplicated. Like, I don't know if there's anything to compare him to because he's truly one of one.
I don't think. Yeah, I'm trying. I mean, you're racking your head. In terms of I did this last summer. I did this with Caitlin Clark, and I think she is that to the WNBA and women's basketball, where when she plays, it's 3 times the viewers. When she's in an arena, it's twice the audience. Like, I'm not saying she's at his level of greatness. That was never the point of that from last summer. The point of it was that there aren't many people who aren't spokes on the wheel, but are the whole damn wheel, and Tiger was the whole wheel.
I think the thing that speaks to Tiger's greatness more than anything is he really hasn't been relevant in competition continually for about a decade now.
Yeah.
And he's still the number one thing that's talked about in the sport of golf. He moves the needle like no one else. And I know a lot of golf purists or people that are really into golf hate that sometimes because they're like, look at the game. There's so many talented players, this and that. But the fact of the matter is the numbers prove that Tiger is the most interesting thing in golf still to this day. And you'd have to go way back, Bo, but was Wilt Chamberlain, when he first hit the scene in basketball, as big
like
of a deal?
Dominant?
Yeah.
I don't know that he drove. I think probably, like, if you did this around the sports, I think probably Magic Bird did this for the NBA. They saved it, and Jordan took it to another level. Jordan had that type of effect, but the NBA was already in really good shape because of Magic and Bird in the 80s. That propped it up. It went from like a league that no one would watch, that was riddled with cocaine, to a league whose finals were on in tape delay, for crying out loud, to a major enterprise during Magic Bird in the 80s, and then Jordan took it to another level. Football's trickier because there isn't really a singular player that you can point to and say that flipped it. I think what flipped the NFL was things like Monday Night Football, the Super Bowl, the event stuff. But there's not a singular player or team or coach that you can point to in football.
Mike
Baseball's
Tyson
had a bunch of them. Tyson maybe, but boxing was in pretty good shape. It was in really good shape with Mike when Mike took on. I mean, you're coming out of Ali Frazier and Foreman and all of that, and then Tyson was like, I got next in the mid '80s. But the sport was very healthy at that time. It's kind of Ruthian, probably. It's probably like Babe Ruth. If you want to have that conversation, it's probably like Babe Ruth, and the impact that he had on the turn of the century with baseball. I think that's probably the closest. I mean, how many guys on tour, whether it's the LIV guys or the PGA guys, think of the purses. If you want to look at the impact, everybody that plays professional golf now ought to write a thank you note to that dude because of the amount of money that they are being compensated. Go look before Tiger started winning events to after he started winning events, and go look at the prize money and how it flipped. I mean, exponentially. Year after year, became a television property, an entity. It became something of incredible value, and he's responsible for that. There aren't many guys. See, you can do the individual thing. You could say Usain Bolt was as good as a sprinter as Tiger Woods at golf. Yeah, but that was once every 4 years we paid attention to it.
Michael Phelps. Same thing.
Phelps. Yeah, Ledecky. I mean, there's some that are in the individual sports where you can do it, but it's not sustained week in and week out. It's not something that is year in and year out the way that it was with Tiger. We're so damn lucky we had the Memorial Tournament all these years. We got a front row seat for it, and he gave a damn here. We won it 5 times. Like, we got to touch the greatness. No one's going to ever forget that chip in on 16. Never. I mean, so those are the things that we're very blessed with, that we got a front row seat for that greatness. The Jackets were not great last night. They got bombed in Jersey. It was a 4-pointer. You know, if you talk about tracking down that 3 seed, it was one that you really had to have. It did not happen. They got down early. I thought there was a chance in the second, where they could make it interesting. They got it to 3-2 after trailing 3-0 in the first, got it to 3-2, and then that fourth one came right at the end of the third, and that was kind of the death knell. So they sit at 70. They're currently in the second wild card spot. Hey, look, if we're going to praise them for all of the fun leading into the Stadium Series, we also have to be critical here. You said you had to get 4 out of this trip. They got 2.
Yeah, and the start last night was just not nearly enough, right? I mean, especially a game like that, it just wasn't enough at the beginning. After that, they played pretty well. They hung with them. They tried to claw back. The 4-2 goal, though, you mentioned it, that was the killer.
Yeah.
That's why we got to just ease ourselves and just get the wild card, man. I was thinking, all last night I was thinking about that. I'm like, this is what happens. And again, it's cynical, Eric. Like many times during the show, I say, do not be like me. And how I consume sports is sometimes a very dark place. Yesterday, watching the Jackets was a very dark place. Fortunately, I had the bright light in the Cleveland Cavaliers. But as I'm watching the Blue Jackets, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is why it's not yet. Like, this is fun. This will be a fun wild card berth team. But not yet can you start really looking up at the Metro saying, we'll catch you Washington.
You get greedy, right?
A little bit.
Because you see what's in front of you, and you say to yourself, wow, you're sitting here, you're how many points? You're 4 points behind the Devils. You get a win, and now it's 2, and you play them again this weekend, and away you go. One of the things that is fact is for this team to get to where we want them to get to at some point, and again, they're way ahead of schedule. I mean, they can't figure out how to play away from here. They just can't. They're 26-4 here. They are 11-19-4 everywhere else. So if you're going to be a team that chases down the 3, if you're going to be that, you've got to be able to win on the road. They needed 4 points out of this to be able to do that. Lots of hockey left to be played. But this was an opportunity coming off of the Hughes injury last week where you could maybe go to Jersey. And, I mean, I'm greedy. I'm thinking, let's get 4. Let's win there and get the 2 there and then get the 2 here over the weekend. That's not going to be the case. And now you got Vegas coming in here on tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So that's the setup for the Jackets, as maybe we were a little too greedy in what could be accomplished this season. The minimum requirement for this Buckeye basketball season was a trip to the big dance. It could be on the line tonight. We'll get you set for that one coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
When you buy from Pella, you could meet Brad, Bob, maybe Mike, or 54 others that make our local Pella team so awesome.
And if you buy from me, you'll get to meet me.
Just a one-man operation, Wilson?
I've got a bunch of cousins helping me, but based on their work, I'm not sure they've got thumbs.
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Basketball from noon to midnight. Scotty Vegas here, and we're throwing a Vegas-style basketball party at Hollywood Casino at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I even went out to Vegas to scout out how to throw this party. Tough assignment. The Fan is doing 24 hours of watch parties. The opening weekend of the tournament, there'll be custom T-shirts, Pop-A-Shot, horse games. Oh, and don't miss a game with a 50-foot video wall. Reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
All right, here's what's up on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Buckeye basketball tonight, 6 o'clock. You can listen to it right here on The Fan, and that's exactly what I'll be doing because at 6 o'clock it's on Peacock, and I'll be chauffeuring boys around to various practices. So I'm hoping I'll get home for the second half of this one, but we'll miss Tip in terms of visually missing it, but I'll be able to hear the dulcet tones of Big Daddy and Ronnie, and so you have that to look forward to, which is nice. Go ahead.
I just have a question about that 6 o'clocker. How confident are we that it gets in the air at 6? Like, I was thinking about you, and I'm wondering, yeah, you might.
Are they doing the thing where they do the 2 sessions where they go afternoon session, break, and then evening session, or is it just straight through?
So the first game of the day is Northwestern, Minnesota at 3:30, and then 25 minutes after that game concludes, Buckeyes and Hawkeyes are up.
Oh, so they're not doing set. Okay. So, yeah, 6 o'clock might be generous. It could be. Yeah. The soonest it could start is 6 o'clock. It could be later. We'll see. Fan pregame starts at 5 o'clock. So just 2 hours of man and bone today leading into that one. Listen, we're so used to this. We've just been in this spot for so many years now at the end of the Holtman regime. Honestly, the end of the Mata regime, most of the Holtman regime, and now with Jake, that I'm at the point where I am checking bracketology daily. I am paying attention to the various conference championships that are won in the mid-majors or the small conference levels to make sure there isn't something where a 2-bid league all of a sudden becomes a 3-bid league. And we were worried about that a little bit in the West Coast Conference, but Gonzaga hold firm, and so they were going to get in anyway. So they won that conference. So that felt like a win for the Buckeyes. I pull up Lenardi's bracketology on a daily basis, and what do I see as I pull it up today? Last team in, Ohio State. First team out, Boise State. So that's where you're at. We've been absolutely on the bubble for a month. And really the last couple of weeks, especially as you've traded wins and losses and a few more losses than wins. Indiana is currently in a little bit better shape than us. What's required? Who knows? The thing you also have to worry about when you're on the bubble is the teams behind you. So, for example, if Texas, who is a first 4 out right now for Lenardi, North Carolina is a first 4 out for Lenardi, if they have runs in their tournaments, that could be something where they would get metrics that you don't have. And so that's something to pay attention to as well. According to Lenardi, and he's usually pretty spot on this stuff, if the tournament started today, Ohio State would be a 12 seed against Xavier in Dayton in a play-in game.
Sure.
So and they would love that. Dayton would love that. Like, I'd take that. That's interesting. You got to win it because I've covered the first 4 games, and let's not act like that's the NCAA. Dayton does awesome, but that is not the NCAA tournament.
Sounds like a road trip at least, though.
Yeah, and that's a great place to watch a game. And it would be packed. It'd be fun.
It can be meaningful postseason basketball for guys like Junie Mobley.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. But to do it, you have, at the bare minimum, you've got to win tonight. You have got to beat Iowa tonight. That's the minimum requirement on that. Then you can start talking about if you can get a win against Illinois on Thursday, then you'd feel very, very good about yourselves. But you have got to take care of Iowa in round 1. Here's Jake on exactly that.
We need to control what we can control, and that's Wednesday's game. Iowa's going to play, their best ball of the year. We're anticipating that. We need to do the same. And, our focus right now is on Wednesday, and that's it. We know this is a big game for all the obvious reasons. There's no hiding from that, but, we need to play well.
They do need to play well. Here's Jake now making the case that they're an NCAA tournament team regardless.
I think our resume is good. It's certainly, we've had some opportunities where we could have enhanced it even more, but our strength of schedule, the quality of wins, the quad 1 wins we have, like all of that stuff stacks up in a really, really good way. So it's life on the bubble, right? Every game's important. We know that. But, there's also a Big Ten tournament championship that somebody's going to win, and we want to give our best shot at that too. We got to control what we can control, and it starts with Wednesday.
These two teams have played once this year. It was a boat racing. We hammered them 82-65. And it was probably the best stretch. It was the best stretch of basketball this team played in Big Ten play. It was part of 3 consecutive wins coming off of some really tough losses. Remember, they had those 3 consecutive losses to Oregon, Wisconsin, and Indiana. Total margin on those was 5 points, and then they won at Purdue. And you felt like, okay, here you go. Then you had Iowa at home, and you win 82-65, and then you won at Penn State, and now you're humming. And there was a lot of momentum heading into that game against Illinois, a game that they lost, and then they kind of yo-yoed wins the rest of the way. I think it is critical for Jake Diebler in year 1 to make the NCAA tournament. Not from a job save. We're not doing that nonsense. He's a year in. But in terms of momentum, in terms of recruiting, in terms of the portal, I think that he's done a hell of a job coaching the team that he did not intend to be coaching. But in this business, the team that he has is one that he's responsible for. The compensation for Michie, the compensation for Aaron Bradshaw. That's the way that this business works now. You go say, these are the guys I want, then you get boosters to compensate for it, and then they better be what you need them to be. And obviously Michie hasn't been here since December, and Bradshaw has not been what anybody thought he would be, although he is playing now. I don't think you can undersell the importance of this one tonight, because I think if you lose it, I think you're out. I think you're one and done. The other thing you have to remember is the committee hasn't even met yet. It's Wednesday. You lose and you're out of their conscience for the weekend, for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, forget it. I think you lose tonight, you're done. And I don't think no one on this station could come on and say, or anybody around town could come on and beat their chest. And I don't even know if Jake could come on and beat their chest and say, oh yeah, we deserve to get in if you're sitting at 17-15 overall and 9-12 in Big Ten games. You beat them once, beat them again. I think it's critical, and I think they have to win tonight. I think it's really, really important.
Ohio State in 2023 made I would say a run that if this team made from Wednesday to Saturday, absolutely get them in. And not just on the bubble looking at Dayton. I mean, actually in. A tall task, especially when you look back to 2023, they lost to eventual tournament champion Purdue. And I don't think you need to get that far. But to your point, you've got to stay relevant Friday and maybe into Saturday to feel really good. I do think a win tonight is fine, but this has to be a team that you can look forward to the future, not with any kind of, because it's been too long where you look, you go, I don't know what next year's going to be like. That you have to break that streak of it's just too much trepidation going into the offseason. Like this needs to be we're moving in the right direction. You'd be able to say that confidently, whereas you like to say 10 feet tall and bulletproof.
Yeah,
that's got to be where Jake Diebler's moving this program along. Because he was Chris Holtman's offensive coordinator. Like, he was on that staff. Yeah. And fair or not, a lot of the things that, befell Holtman at the end of his tenure are creeping on, kind of clinging on to Diebler.
Well, there's no question that they have similar Februaries. There's no doubt about that. They played an incredibly ambitious schedule. Everybody knows it. They were setting up for it. This was a year that kind of everybody had circled. Everybody knew that Junie Mobley was going to be a great player, and I don't think anybody thought he was going to have play the minutes that he did and have to have the impact that he did for them to win. But he's done that, so that's part of it too. If you think about to the point of like playing into next year and the momentum for it, Devin Royal is a sophomore. John Mobley is a freshman. That would be, you're going to be going into, in terms of guys coming back, you'd also have Bruce Thornton who would be back for his senior year. And then you're going to rebuild. This is going to be a year-to-year building of roster over and over again, is what it is. But it's a hell of a lot easier if you have March Madness. It's a hell of a lot easier if you get into the big dance than if you're sitting it out again.
Just real quick, Tommy in the YouTube chat says Ohio State's tip tonight between Buckeyes and Hawkeyes, 6-13.
That's the locked in.
That's what he says.
Saying it, so who's going to argue with it?
I was just wondering, do you think it's going to be Tommy earlier than 6-13 or later than 6-13? Because I got a later tip than 6-13.
Well, the crazy thing about Peacock is it behaves as if it's cable, even though it's an app. Like, just go when the other one's done. When the one game ends, put 20 minutes on the clock and then start the other one. So they should have plenty of time. But with all the referees going to look at screens and the 55 million timeouts, like, probably not.
Well, they have to give the team so much time, right, in between games to get on the floor and warm up,
right? 20 minutes.
I mean, you would think, but they already have these procedures in place and whatnot. I don't know. I can't see Northwestern and Minnesota being a blowout. I have a feeling that's going to be an ugly game to the end. So you're probably going to get a later tip than 6:13. I know it's a big ask on Wednesdays during the week to make a little road trip, but if you want to go get over, watch the game tonight, tickets are as low as $2 right now. So if you want to have a convoy from Columbus over to Indianapolis and make that a home game tonight, it'd be pretty easy to do.
I have absolutely nothing I want to do in Indiana.
Yeah, he said it. You have a little trip. You could go hit Uranus Fudge. You go to Hoosiers Gym, get some shots up this afternoon to get some inspiration, go to the game, then come home.
Listen, if I was smart, I would have took tomorrow off as well as Friday since I'm going to Dayton for the weekend. I would have made a whole time of this.
Yeah. I will tell you this. If you have not been, no, I'm not advocating for $2, it's pretty damn good to just go over there and watch a game. That's awesome. The Big Ten tournament in Indy, it's awesome. It's really cool. Everybody comes in. Downtown Indy is built for this. For all of my issues with the state of Indiana as a whole, downtown Indy eventing, they know what they're doing. And so it's a lot of fun. This is a great weekend. It's a great weekend over there. And hopefully for the Buckeyes, it can be one that lasts more than just one night. And quite honestly, I think we can all agree that it needs to. Adam Jardy will join us at 11:30 with his thoughts on what to expect tonight between the Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes. Will Central Ohio ever care about the Cleveland Cavaliers without LeBron James? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Men, this is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And you've heard me talk a lot about how treating low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more. But today I want to talk to you about your sex drive, because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor in erectile dysfunction. And if you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive could really be a problem. The good news is that if you're like most guys, treating your low testosterone could really change the way you feel about sex, giving you back the flame and desire that is so important when you love someone. So if you're feeling sluggish and tired, if you're not sleeping well, if your workouts aren't that great, and most of all, if your sex drive is more like a putt, make an appointment at Tri-State Men's Health and have your testosterone levels checked. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
The best matchup this month is you in a new ride. From Coughlin Ford, get a new 2024 Ford F-150 with prices as low as $45,940. Or buy a new 2024 Super Duty starting at under $49,000 during Ford Truck Month. Visit CoughlinFord.com.
All factory rebates to dealer. All prior sales excluded. In-stock units only. No security deposit required. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/25.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. You know, as much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. You know our 93 or free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
At NJM Insurance, we like to think of ourselves as a symphony. We start with a foundation of doing the right thing. Then we layer in dedicated reps whose priority is you. Add in excellent discount programs. And last, but certainly not least, we put our policyholders first. And the reason we don't use jingles or mascots is because It's just not us. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
The Fan has been ranked as the second best sports station in America by our industry peers. Our heartfelt thank you is in order. But we're not doing it because we're better than that hillbilly Birmingham station that came in first. Thanks for nothing.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text KING to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text KING to 42424. That's KING to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
You know what's pretty crazy about this Cavaliers team is that even games that you would appear to say on the NBA calendar are ones where you just kind of push the chips in and we'll see you down the road. Donovan Mitchell didn't even play last night in the game, and you're trailing big going into the fourth. They have give a damn. And in this instance, the give a damn manifested with Darius Garland, who had 18 in the fourth, as much as the Nets scored as a team. They outscored the Nets 31-18 in the fourth to win 109-104. It's their 15th win in a row. This is their second 15-game winning streak of the season. They are 55-10. They are 30-4 at home. Let's check the ESPN bet numbers. Are they still not the favorite to win the NBA championship? I don't understand how they wouldn't be. They're the sixth team in the NBA history with two 15-game winning streaks in the season. They also have a 12, don't they, Reese? Don't they have two 15s and a 12?
Yeah, this is their third double-digit win streak. But, yeah, the first of the season was 15, then they won on a 12, and now this is another 15. Yeah, this is unprecedented stuff the Cavaliers are doing in the regular season. But I would still imagine that the betting and even ESPN bet, whichever book you want to use, even the guy in the alleyway, still money's on the Celtics. Most of the money right now.
At ESPN bet right now, the Boston Celtics are your favorite at plus 180. Number 2, the Oklahoma City Thunder at 2-1. The Cavs are number 3, plus 525.
Where are the Lakers on that?
The Lakers are tied with the Nuggets at plus 14 or 14-1, which I think last time we looked at this, the Nuggets and the Lakers were 13-1. So the Lakers have actually come down a little bit.
Come down a little. When I moved here, married a Cleveland girl, so there's always since her and I have been together, I've been paying attention to what happens with those sports teams a little bit more than anyone else just through marriage. When I moved here in 2007 and LeBron was in his first run with the Cavaliers, Columbus was a Cavs town. It was a LeBron town. It was a Cavs town. And you would go to restaurants, bars around town, and playoff games that he participated in, it was as if they were the Columbus Cavaliers, honestly. That's really what it was. It was the combination of LeBron. It was the LeBron factor is what it is. And I've always been curious if there would be any sort of revisiting of that if they ever could be good enough without him. This is going to be the litmus test for that. Will this town care if this Cavaliers team, will they jump on the bandwagon? The way that sometimes you do when the Guardians make a run. Since I've been back here on the show this second tenure at the Fan, the Reds haven't made a run. So we have had at the time an Indians run that we saw. We have not had a Reds run. But we can jump on. We can jump on a bandwagon. Now, our standard is elite because everything that we do from a sports perspective is shaped by Buckeye football. And so if you're not elite, then it's hard for us to pay attention to. But this Cavaliers team is. And I think this spring will be a real litmus test to see if this town has the buy-in. I remember James and I, first month on the show, broadcasting out at Memorial, and it was NBA Finals. It was the J.R. Smith brain fart play, and we were broadcasting out there, and then you'd get like the city ratings for the NBA Finals, and Columbus would be third. Like Cleveland was 1, San Francisco Bay Area was 2, and then Columbus would be third in terms of eyeballs watching the NBA Finals because of LeBron. So this will be it. This will be the test. They have a superstar in Donovan Mitchell. They have 3 all-stars with Mitchell, Garland, Mobley. Allen's been an all-star. They are deep. They are talented. They play a fun brand of basketball. The kids love it. But will they capture the attention of Central Ohio in this spring? This is the task. This will finally, I think, Reese, get that answer.
Yeah, game 1 of the NBA Finals is June 5th. So
it's a Memorial.
It's
will definitely be at Jack's place.
It's probably got to make that. The Cavaliers would have to make that run into the finals. I don't know if an Eastern Conference championship would do it, would give it that kind of juice. Maybe if it goes to Game 7 against the Boston Celtics, then it starts to kind of, I don't know, maybe hit the levels of excitement with LeBron. I just don't think there's not another comparison to LeBron James. I mean, he brought a Cavs preseason game down here at the Schottenstein Center that was very well attended. I don't know if he even played in that, but he's the numbers that you reference with with Columbus being third. If the Cavs are making it to the NBA Finals and they play the Los Angeles Lakers, then you're going to get numbers similar, but a lot of that's going to be because LeBron's in the finals. Like, there's numbers from that March 8th game between the Celtics and the Lakers.
Yeah.
That victory by Boston was the most watched NBA regular season game across any platform in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
I think...
He's it. He's got the Tiger Woods thing to him a little bit.
I think Central Ohio will latch on. It may not be exactly like when LeBron was here, but I think they will for a couple of reasons. One, because I think a lot of people will remember the LeBron runs and how fun it was and being a Cavs fan, so I think they will go back to that. 2, you mentioned Donovan Mitchell. He's not a LeBron superstar, but he's a superstar in the league. 3, the Cavs do play a fun brand of basketball, and people will tune in, and they will see that, and they will like it. The Cavs are not like a lot of NBA teams where it's just a lot of solo play. They do have some team basketball in them. And then that potential of the Boston Celtics will be big too. So I think Central Ohio will jump on. It may not be LeBron numbers, but I think they'll be pretty big.
I think there's 2 other factors that kind of weigh into maybe why it will never, other than the LeBron, which is the overwhelming and obvious one. I think 2 other factors have happened in the, now 18 years since then, or over the last couple of decades since the first time he was up in Cleveland, or even the last time he was there. One, it's been the true emergence of the Columbus Blue Jackets over the last decade, and the fact that the first time he was in Cleveland, the Jackets were known primarily just for their failures and an inability to get anything done in the postseason. And so there was always something you could count on in spring, and it was LeBron, and that was something we watched. The other part of it, I think, is the crew. I think what the crew have done with their fan base since being saved and since lore.com is that fan base has expanded. So from a professional sports standpoint, 20 years ago, both the crew were a relatively niche audience, and the Blue Jackets were a growing but relatively niche audience. They are now hugely established brands over the last 2 decades. And I think that's another thing. Like, you only have so much attention that you can kind of spend on all of this stuff as a sports consumer. And because of the attention that you're giving to our teams, less is being given to that one. That, in addition to, and I think the LeBron factor is the overwhelming reason, that I think all of those things contribute to it a little bit. But they are great, and if they can make a run, we'll see if this is something that we can jump onto here in Central Ohio. Something changed dramatically in the NFL in terms of roster building. It happened maybe gradually, but it is emphatic now. We'll explain coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
Next on Metro's Nada Yada Island podcast.
I almost fainted when the 4 new bombshells arrived. 4 free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G phones at Metro.
No way.
And finding out the 4th line is free. Oh, things got heated.
That's wild. Join Metro and get 4 free Samsung 5G phones. Only at Metro.
Plus tax. Bring 4 numbers and an ID and sign up for any Metro Flex plan. Not available currently at T-Mobile or been with Metro in the past 180 days.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Start 2025 with significant growth and earning potential at Uline. Interview for warehouse roles at Uline's March hiring event in Etna, Ohio. Earn reliable income starting from $25 an hour with a $2 night shift increase. And get full health and retirement benefits on day one. Don't wait. Start building a long-term career at a growing company. Sign up for your warehouse interview on Saturday, March 22nd in Etna at uline.jobs. That's uline.jobs.
Open the door and spring into savings. Now at Menards. Enhance the appearance of your home with a new stylish garage door from Menards. Choose from our large in-stock selection of ideal garage doors or design your own using our free garage door designer. Save big on ideal garage doors. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove, not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. I would know. I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my 2 best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Hoops fans, are you ready to score big and get lucky this March? What's up? It's T-Bone. I'm here to tell you that Bud Light will be holding mini hoops challenges at bars and restaurants across town over the next several weeks with one goal in mind: to send one lucky local winner to Las Vegas where they'll compete for $10,000. Take your shot at March Madness glory. This week, join Bud Light on Thursday night as they take over Pastimes New Albany on North Hamilton Road. They'll be there from 8 to 10 p.m. and they'll have a mini hoops basketball challenge that'll give you a shot at a Vegas trip and $10,000.
Michelle Smallman here. Are you dreaming of seeing your team draft their next superstar? Travel Wisconsin is sending 10 lucky fans and a guest to the draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Witness unforgettable moments and make memories that will last a lifetime. Don't miss out. Enter Travel Wisconsin's Dream Draft Sweepstakes. Visit travelwisconsin.com/draft to learn how you can win a trip to experience the biggest moment of the offseason. Epic moments that become lifelong memories are waiting to be discovered across Wisconsin. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The basketball Buckeyes cling to the tournament bubble as the Big Ten tourney begins today at the Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Ohio State plays Iowa tonight around 6 o'clock. We'll have that game on the Fan with coverage starting at 5 p.m. Winner gets Illinois tomorrow night in the second round. 3 tickets will be punched to the Big Dance on Wednesday. Tournament championships in the Big Sky, Patriot League, and Southland will be decided on the court. 11 bids have already been awarded as we're 4 days out from Selection Sunday. In the NFL, the new league year begins this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Free agents can officially sign with new teams. On Tuesday, the Bills agreed to a 1-year, $12.6 million deal with 5-time Pro Bowl defensive end Joey Bosa. And in the NHL, the Blue Jackets lost to the Devils 5-2 last night in Jersey. Jackets will host Vegas on Thursday. This update is sponsored by Germain Toyota, the best selection of new and used cars in Central Ohio. View their full selection of vehicles online at germaintoyota.net.
The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Still time to get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas at 971BFS on the X platform, on the YouTube as well, on the YouTube chat. We can handle those there. Best one gets the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. All right. Something has changed dramatically in the National Football League over the course of the last decade, and I think I know why. About 10 years ago, the Cleveland Browns with Sashi Brown at the front of the organization said, okay, we have not been able to draft a quarterback that we want at the top of the draft since Tim Couch. Let's put ourselves in a position to draft at the top of drafts and get consequential players and build this thing once right. What happened next was a 1-31 stretch where they won one game over 2 years. And the cost of that, from a fan base standpoint, and it's the best fan base on a short list of the very best fan bases in all of professional sports, was significant. The cost on the organization is tough. The light at the end of the tunnel was Myles Garrett and theoretically Baker Mayfield. That's what it was. It was, okay, now we have it. And it worked. It worked. For an organization that hadn't seen the playoffs in forever, they saw the playoffs. They won a playoff game. The Cleveland Browns have won a playoff game more recently than the Pittsburgh Steelers have. And it showed a blueprint for others that if you can, if you're between trying to be 6-10 or 2-14 in those days, choose 2-14. And there were a bunch of teams that copied this strategy over the years. Jacksonville copied this strategy. The Bears copied this strategy. There are a bunch of teams in the league over the decade since the Browns initially did this that copied this strategy. What I noticed this year in NFL free agency is that following that strategy is done. And in its place is the reemergence of the NFL middle class. The NFL middle class is back. And the reason for it is the amount of cost that going to the bottom has, not just on a fan base, but also on your bottom line. In the end, NFL teams and franchises are businesses. And it's not good business to be really, really bad. And if you've been to an NFL game, I'm trying to remember, did either of you guys go up to a Browns game last year towards the end of the year?
Nope.
So did you, Bake? You didn't get up there either?
No, the last Browns game I attended in person was when Johnny Football ended the losing streak.
Oh, my goodness. John Football, that's a long time. All right, so one thing that I noticed that happened, and you could hear it as I was driving around to youth basketball in the winter. You could hear it, listen to the Browns games right here on the Fan. You could hear, even though I think probably in their heart of hearts, they knew that losing was better than winning. Because when you lose, you get a higher draft pick. But when you're one of the people who paid to go to the building, you want the team to win. Because in the end, that's what it is all about. We've seen this really recently with the Blue Jackets. Remember in the Bedard chase? We were like, God almighty, just keep losing. Who did they beat right at the end? Pittsburgh. They beat Pittsburgh. Like, Pittsburgh beat us 1,000 times, and then that was, and it all, like, Fantilli's great, like, no regret, whatever. But, like, that was the Bedard sweepstakes, and we said, whatever we can do to draft number 1 overall, we got to do it. And they won a game that in the end, what difference does it make? Right? And guess what? The fans in attendance at Nationwide that night went nuts. Why? Because they're customers who pay their hard-earned to go to a venue, and they want to root for the home team. I think it's that simple. And so what you have now, just think about this. I got 4 categories in the National Football League, and I think these signings, the Justin Fields signing, the Sam Darnold signing, the Daniel Jones signing, these signings that we've seen, the trading for Geno Smith. Think about Vegas trading for Geno Smith. How does Geno Smith change what the Las Vegas Raiders are at all? He makes them competent. They're not making the playoffs. It's not a playoff team. But they're not going to go 2-15 either. And they're trying to build a fan base there. What does Justin Fields do for the Jets? He's a bite at the apple. He will give you excitement. He will win some football games. What does Sam Darnold do for Seattle? We know what Sam Darnold is. It's 7 years of it. We know what it is. Daniel Jones in Indy. Why? They should run out. The conventional wisdom 10 years ago would have said, run out Anthony Richardson and see if he can make something of himself. But that's not the attitude anymore. The attitude now is, God, we got to win some games. Our fans have a lot of choices on where to spend their hard-earned dollars. We got to win some games. So if you follow me on this, I got 4 categories of NFL teams, and I want you to think about this from the perspective of, I think there are probably upwards of, well, I'll count them. These are the teams that I think right now feel like in their buildings, we're contenders. If things go our way, we can win the Super Bowl. I got Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Houston. I put Denver in here. I'm saying in their buildings. Chargers, Kansas City, Philly, Washington, Detroit, that's 10, Tampa Bay, Rams, Minnesota. Minnesota's acting like a team that's ready to go win the Super Bowl the way they spend on the defensive line. It's 13 teams that are contenders. Now I'm going to give you a list of teams that are not contenders and to me are exactly what I'm talking about, this middle class. Miami, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's middle class. Absolutely they are. Indianapolis with Daniel Jones is middle class. Jacksonville, middle class. Vegas with Geno Smith, middle class. Dallas, Jerry doesn't spend in free agency. Don't need to. He's just printing money. Middle class. They spend middle of the road. Dallas does. Middle of the road. New Orleans. They brought back Carr. Why? Why? To go 6-11? Yeah, because it's better than going 2-15 and having an empty building. Arizona with Kyler, Arizona and Jacksonville are teetering in this category or another one. I think San Francisco is going to be middle class as they transition from a loaded roster to one that's going to be built around having to play Brock Purdy. Seattle's middle class. And I think the Jets are aspiring to be middle class with Justin Fields. There's a ceiling on what you can do there. Then there's a handful of teams that have young quarterbacks. And you could probably put Arizona and Jacksonville in this as well that give you hope. But I went New England, Chicago, Atlanta, Carolina in that group. So the true bottom, as currently constructed, rosters right now as currently constructed, and quarterback situations as currently constructed that are truly the bottom, are the teams that pick 1, 2, 3 in the NFL draft. It's Tennessee, it's Cleveland, and it's New York. And what don't those 3 teams have? They don't have a quarterback. They don't. You can draft one or you can trade for one, but they don't have one. I don't recall a time in the last decade where that middle class was 11 deep. 11 deep of teams that are going into every season going, we're going to be somewhere between 6-11 and 10-7. At best, we're 10-7. At worst, we're 6-11 though, or 7-10. That middle, not good enough to get in, or maybe you get a bite at the apple to get in, but you have no hope going in. That's it. That's the spot. Think about the mentality in Vegas to go get Geno Smith. What was that about? He's an aging guy. He's been in the league a long time. There's a clear ceiling on what it can be. But put yourself in ownership shoes. They tried out Gardner Minshew last year. They're not going to be able to get a quarterback that they want at 6, probably. So they want to be competitive now. They're trying to win a fan base in Vegas.
There's that. And I also think a lot of the teams that you mentioned, it feels like, and I'd have to go back through each individual one, but they've experienced turnover recently in their front office and in their coaching staff. So with new regimes,
sure,
I wonder if the idea from a new regime, like in Las Vegas, is like, we're not tanking year one. Like we're going to put some pieces together, and we think we've got a shot at this. If you're in the NFC South, I feel they probably feel, every team does, that they're ready to go to the playoffs every single year because sub 500 might just get you the division championship.
That's why I think Tampa Bay's behaving the way they're behaving, Reese, to your point.
Yep.
Look what they've spent to retain their roster. They signed Hassan Reddick. Like I put them in that first category because I think in their head they're like, why not us? We beat Philly 2 years ago in the postseason. Why not us? Why can't we go win the Super Bowl?
The NFC and the AFC, like the separation there, or at least the difference there is so wild because in the NFC, 500, well, that'll get you in the playoffs.
Yeah.
In the AFC, you got to be a couple games above 500 to be sniffing a playoff spot. Like 9-8 isn't going to get it done. But in the NFC, that might get you a division title.
Yeah, it might get you in there in some of these. There are teams, though, that you can look at right now in that middle class that have no chance to be anything at best other than 10-7. And they're good with it. They're good with it.
It puts butts in seats.
Right. And it also depends on how long you've been in this middle class. Pittsburgh's been in this middle class since Ben left. And they're fed up with it. They don't want to be there anymore. Like, their whole thing is resting on Aaron Rodgers. And then I think they'll think they're in that first category.
What a wild place to be.
Right. Because he hasn't signed yet. It's between them and the Giants for him. But that's an incredible shift philosophically the National Football League has taken in the last decade. It really is. What is left in the quarterback room? You're waiting on Rodgers. Russell Wilson's been linked almost nowhere. It feels like one of them's going to New York, the other one's going to Pittsburgh. What exactly are the Browns' plans to add to their room? We will get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived, the only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bets are us. When dreams don't get in, bets are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Bets are us. When dreams don't get in, bets are us.
Welcome to Tire Discounters.
Thanks. I gotta warn you, I drive a hard bargain.
Okay.
So let's hear your first offer.
Well, how about, with any 4-tire purchase, we'll give you a free alignment.
Man, I'm good. All right, let's do it before you change your mind.
And we'll also give you a free oil change.
Ha! I can't believe I talked you into this deal. Sometimes I amaze even myself.
Don't tell accounting. But with any 4-tire purchase at Tire Discounters, you get a free alignment and a free full synthetic oil change. See store for details.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
And today, Pella's excited to announce our 100-year anniversary.
Cut! Leslie, you accidentally said 100 years.
Not an accident, Wilson.
What?
When you do the windows that look the best, you tend to stick around for a while.
I can't compete with that. Buy from her.
Get the windows that have been around for 100 years. The windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus. at PellaColumbus.com.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game. That's you taking another sip of your Do the Do.
Come into your local AAA Car Care Plus and save $40 on any repair of $150 or more. Only at AAA Car Care Plus locations. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Offer valid through March 31st. See store for details.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's time to sign up for the Fan at 10 TV Bracket Challenge.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew, Ohio Bottled, Buckeye Bold.
The most accurate bracket takes home 1,000 smackers. Reserve your spot now and compete against your favorite fan and 10 TV personalities. And compete against the ones you hate, too. Head to 971thefan.com for all the fun. Yay! March is fun. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Another spring-like day today. We're going to keep the good times rolling this week. Sunny today with a high of 70. Increasing clouds tonight, low 43. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 70. Partly cloudy on Friday with a high of 75. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And as always, we are sponsored and brought to you by our friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Man, if you're, and I'm guessing they already have this, if you're Pantone, those guys, and you're trying to decorate the Woody, don't you just put somewhere on a wall in there amount of money earned by Buckeyes in the National Football League? Feels like that would be effective. It's kind of like in the old days, they had that tally of like the national debt that would just go. You'd see like those billboards that would have that. That's kind of what you could do here. Joey Bosa adding to it. 1 year's 12.6 in Buffalo. There were some thoughts that maybe he would go to San Francisco and play with his brother. They were linked, but instead he goes to Buffalo to chase a championship with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. They are obviously one of those teams, as we were talking, in that first tier. Hey, let's go win the Super Bowl team. I think Pittsburgh is a team that in their mind's eye would elevate to that, but only if they sign Aaron Rodgers. I think if they bring back Russell Wilson, it's hard to talk that fan base and anybody around there into thinking that they are contenders in any serious way, shape, or form, even with the addition of DK Metcalf. And you could be cynical and say, well, what the hell makes Rodgers so much better than Wilson? And I get that. But if you watch how Rodgers played at the end of last year and you factor in the fact that he is now in his second year post-Achilles and he got better and better as it went along, I think at the very least, if you're a Steelers fan, if you sign Aaron Rodgers, you say we got Rodgers, we got Pickens, we got Metcalf, we got that defense, Steeler culture, all of it. We don't know what's going on in Cincinnati with their roster. At the very least, we're second in the division, something we were last year with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. This would be an upgrade for that. So that's the next domino that has to fall, because it feels like wherever he goes, and it seems all the reporting is it's between the Giants and the Steelers for him. If it's about winning, it's got to be Pittsburgh. It's hard for me to see a scenario where the Giants would do much of anything. The only reason you'd stay in with the Giants, I would think, is, I mean, Neighbors is a nice kind of nugget there to throw to, and you wouldn't have to move. So if you liked spending half of your year in the greater New York metro area, then maybe that would be a win there in terms of a lifestyle thing. Because Pittsburgh, the cities of Pittsburgh and Green Bay are not mirrors in any way, shape, or form, but it is a similar feel to it in terms of what you'd be signing up for.
Yeah, Rodgers and Malik Neighbors, those numbers would be nuts. Not sure how much they'd actually be winning. So it does feel, to your point, Rodgers has a choice to make. You want to win, or you want to make more money and pump up more numbers for an already Hall of Fame resume. It would be the weirdest damn thing. And I think I feel like I say this every year about somebody in the NFL or a free agent in the NFL. It'd be the weirdest damn thing to see Aaron Rodgers trot out to Acrisure Stadium in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform.
Ugh.
Like that to me is not unfathomable, because now everything's fathomable. But what the hell?
I think
there's no other spot, really.
No, it's it. It feels like that. If you're serious about trying to end your career on a high note, the best of the three options you have, I think Pittsburgh's the best. Because you could go, and I keep seeing Minnesota, despite even Brett Favre, when he was on with Fox News, like, yeah, you should go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Your best spot, because Minnesota's in that, kind of log-jammed NFC North. But Pittsburgh, to your point about the Bengals and how there are a lot of questions for Cincinnati going into 2025, and you don't know, like Lamar and the Ravens might have hit their ceiling, because if they didn't do it last year, like when the hell are they going to get it done?
I think the Ravens, the Bills, the Lions, those three especially, Reese, just to jump in, those three especially are all of the pressure in the world.
Yeah.
Like their window is right now as currently constructed. There will be a second window for Allen with the Bills. There will be another window for Lamar with Baltimore. That's what happens when you get a franchise quarterback. You get multiple windows. But as currently constructed, the Bills are a right now operation. I think that the Baltimore Ravens are a right now operation. You cannot expect Derrick Henry to play at that level for another year.
Did we say that last year?
Like, how long are we going to do this? Like, it just can't. And then the same thing, I think, with the Lions, where they're going to have to start paying a lot of people, and that's when you run into the situation that the 49ers are in, which was contender. Whoops. What happened? Well, we can't keep all these guys anymore because we got to pay Brock Purdy. So that's the scenario that I think those three teams are in. I think Buffalo's in that spot.
I think if I'm Brian Daboll, I'm begging my general manager, Joe Schoen, not to bring Aaron Rodgers in, because that feels like the end of the Brian Daboll tenure in New York. I mean, it's hanging on by a thread anyway. I feel like him and Aaron Rodgers together, Aaron Rodgers is going to throw him under the bus all the time, and it'll be the end of him.
Pittsburgh added Kenneth Gainwell just here in the last 5 minutes, so they add him to their running back room. That's after the Najee Harris exit to the Chargers. They are preparing. I said this when they acquired DK Metcalf. When I saw that, I thought, oh, they think they're getting Rodgers. That's when on Sunday. That's what that seemed like to me. Like, I don't think they're running it back with Fields or with Russ. And I get Justin too. Like, they offered him and Russ basically hey, come. They offered them both the same deal. And how could Fields have trusted Pittsburgh after what happened last year? Like, he played well and was benched and didn't ever see the field again. From the Browns' perspective, what's next for them? I did see a lot of reporting I saw from Zach Jackson, who we've had on a bunch with The Athletic, reporting yesterday that he anticipated Kirk Cousins being a Brown by the end of this week, by the weekend, that he would be a Cleveland Brown. The thing to monitor on that, the Atlanta Falcons owe him a bunch of money, and they're going to pay him whether he plays for them or whether he plays for someone else. What would behoove them to pay him to play for someone else when they have a roster that is pretty good? They've got a young second-year quarterback who we haven't seen much of, and they're in a very winnable division. By the way, their quarterback we haven't seen much of, Michael Penix Jr., is a guy who's been had some major injury issues over the course of his career, certainly. So why would they do that? What would be their motivation? Just being good guys? Is that it? Just, hey, let's be nice. Let's pay him to play somewhere else. He asked us nicely.
Can't set that precedent, can you?
I don't think so.
It just feels so weird because people are speaking with like so much certainty about Kirk Cousins, and I don't know if there is, other than he's the backup in Atlanta.
Right. And either way, they are going to have to, even if they did find a way to work out a trade with Cleveland can't take on that salary. I mean, they're up against it cap-wise, so they can't do that. I mean, the Cousins deal that he just signed is crazy. Well, because of what I just said in the previous segment, Reese, because the middle class is better.
Yeah. I guess
because the middle class gets fan buy-in. The middle class gets you to have relevant games in December as opposed to, stadiums that are mostly empty.
I guess just from a Browns fan's perspective, if you're looking to get a veteran, try the Flacco. I just keep coming back to try the Flacco thing rather than pay for the Cousins thing, because if the Flacco thing goes wrong, you're not on the hook for too much. If the Cousins thing goes wrong based off what he saw last year, like that's not an elevator. If you're paying for an elevator, get an elevator. I don't think Kirk Cousins is that.
Yeah. I think that the Flacco plan, the Flacco, Pickett, draft at 2, I'm in. That I'm in. Get that quarterback at 2 and start to build. Flacco's a great guy, natural leader, show you the ropes, all those things. Honestly, like if they only love Cam Ward, let's just say that's the case. They only love Cam Ward. Let's say Tennessee takes Cam Ward and you're not able to trade up to Tennessee because they've pivoted and now they're going to draft Ward. Then I wouldn't even mind if you go 2 is Travis Hunter. Fine. Take Travis Hunter at 2, have Flacco, Pickett, and then go get the quarterback that you like next. You might be able to trade back in and get Shedeur at the end of the first round. You might be able to get Jackson Dart. You may be able to get Will Howard in the second or third. But you have got to draft at least 1, and I think 2 quarterbacks this year. And see if you strike gold on them. If you don't love one of the ones at the top. That's the job. That's the job. If you love one of the ones at the top, then I think you got to do whatever you need to do to go to one to get them. But if you don't, then you can pivot off of it. But whether it's Flacco and Pickett or whoever else they would add to that room, it's a completely remade room now. I mean, you're gonna have 4 new faces in there.
We needed to do that.
Yeah, you had to. Yeah, that's the spot they're in. Jake Trotter was on the Browns beat for an awful long time. He's a senior college football reporter at ESPN. He joins in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here, heart care helps you heal faster. Advanced, minimally invasive procedures mean less time recovering and more living life. See how we care for all of you at MountCarmelForYou.com.
Save more green this St. Patrick's Day at Meijer. Enjoy Meijer corned beef, just $3.99 a pound. Red potatoes are $3.99 for a 5-pound bag. Enjoy an ice-cold Coca-Cola or Pepsi product. 12 packs are now on sale. Buy 2, get 1 free. Plus deposit where applicable. And Loft House decorated sugar cookies are only $3.99. We're working hard to bring more goodness to your St. Patrick's Day celebration at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in store or in the Meijer app.
What does living your best nonstop life mean to you? Cheering on your team at that big game? A music festival with friends? A family vacation? Or maybe a vacation from your family? Live your best nonstop life with low fares and nonstop flights only at Allegiant.com.
Non-stop flights from Columbus to Fort Lauderdale, one way for as low as $44. Must be purchased by 4/24/2025 for travel between 3/13/2025 and 8/17/2025. Seats and dates are limited. Restrictions apply. See Allegiant.com for details.
Bring the thrill of the stadium to your wallet with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the only checking account that rewards you for being a Crew fan. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Federally insured by NCUA. Breaking
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
And he joins on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We're having the NFL quarterback conversation here on the program in the second hour, my friend. I want to bring you into it because every time I do this, I get a bunch of people who say, well, we had our franchise quarterback and we let him go to Carolina, and now he is that in Tampa Bay. I'm always quick to point out that Carolina wasn't interested in keeping him or Darnold. They had them both either. You were in part, I don't think I'm overstepping here, you were in part brought to Cleveland to cover the Browns because of your relationship and the fact that you covered Baker at Oklahoma. Do you think that there was any way for Baker to play at this level in Cleveland? And if so, how?
No, I don't think it was going to happen, especially if the regime that was in place at the time after the 2021 season was going to stay. So Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, there was a loss of trust there, I think both ways. And it was always going to take a change of scenery for Baker to realize his potential, which he has, obviously done at Tampa. And Baker, is not a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He never will be. And I think that the Browns were looking at it like, we're trying to win a Super Bowl with what we think is a Super Bowl caliber roster. We've got to go get a guy who has the upside to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. That was the calculus at the time. But, as we've seen with Tampa, and I think we saw it with Philly, you can go pretty far in the playoffs if you've got a top 10, 12 quarterback, which I think is probably where Baker is settled into. And I think there's something to say about being top 12 when, you're a franchise that has had how many quarterbacks now at this point, and no one who has, been the guy since Bernie Kosar left in the early 90s. I think it goes back to, stability and continuity within an organization plays a big role in the development of quarterbacks. You look at Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, maybe Patrick Mahomes becomes Patrick Mahomes if he goes elsewhere, but, he sits a year behind Alex Smith. He's with Andy Reid. And, that type of, he's had the same, infrastructure in place, since he got there. And with Baker, he had how many coaches and coordinators in just his tenure with the Browns? It's just not a recipe for success. And if the Browns do, in fact, draft a quarterback, I think that's a lesson they need to keep in mind because there's a good chance you're going to ruin that guy, at least at your shop, if you're not giving him the kind of structure and continuity he needs to grow into the position, which is the hardest one to play in all of sports.
It's the landing spot is damn near as important as the talent, Jake. I couldn't agree with you more. And it speaks to kind of another thing that has, I think, has happened in the last decade around the league, which is there was a time, and I think the Browns were one of the organizations that kickstarted this, where you didn't want to be in the middle class. And I think that the Browns looked at where they were with Baker and said, this is like we can make playoffs and we can win a game, but we're never beating Mahomes with this guy. I think Burrow was a big part of it. Like, God almighty, we can't beat Burrow consistently, even though Bake did, and they did have success against Cincinnati specifically. But I think you understand the point that the middle class is gotten bigger and bigger in the league. I was thinking about this. I mean, I'm thinking Miami, Pittsburgh, Indy, Jacksonville, Raiders. I mean, think what the Raiders did with Geno. They're not going to win anything with Geno Smith. But they also don't want to go 3-14 because there's a damage that's done when you go 3-14. And actually, the middle class is okay, buddy. I counted upwards of 11 teams who I would say, based on what they did this year in free agency and kind of where they are at quarterback. You think of Jones getting paid, Darnold getting paid, Smith getting traded, and then eventually paid. There's a ceiling on all those guys. Kind of what you just described with Baker, but there's also value in being in the mix and winning some games for your fans.
Yeah, was it fun watching the worst offense in the NFL last year?
That's it.
Because that's one of the alternatives, and I think that brings us full circle to the draft. And, this has not been an inspiring free agency period so forth for the Browns. You're probably looking at best case scenario, a quarterback room of Kirk Cousins and Kenny Pickett heading into the draft. And anybody you talk to, they don't view Shedeur Sanders as a guy with top 5 quarterback in the NFL ceiling. That's just not the way he is viewed. And it's not to say he can't become that guy. Like, who knows, right? Like,
yeah,
that,
hard.
Evaluating quarterbacks is basically impossible. But everything that's happened to this point is pointed to Tennessee taking Cam Ward. I mean, I thought that the move that they made with Dan Moore at left tackle, it just screams we're drafting the quarterback at 1. They haven't done anything at quarterback in free agency so far. So I think the odds of Tennessee taking Cam Ward at 1 have gone up significantly. Mm-hmm. And now if you're the Browns, do you take a guy at number 2 who, seems destined, best case scenario, to be a middle-class quarterback just to have competency, and a guy who I think, a lot of evaluators have as like a second-round caliber pick, like that's probably where he would be in a normal quarterback draft. Like, so is that what you're going to do? Because that's the reason you had moved on from Baker, that you didn't want to be in the middle class. Now you're going to draft a middle class quarterback 4 years later. I felt like, Bo, you tell me if you disagree.
Okay.
I felt like they missed an opportunity with the Myles Garrett situation to reboot the franchise, to take a step back in order to take a bunch of steps forward. I mean, you trade Myles Garrett away, you get a first and a second minimum. Let's say you get a first next year. Mm-hmm. You trade back in this draft, you might get another first. You're looking at a scenario where, and if you move on from guys like Njoku and Denzel, you take your medicine on the salary cap, which you're going to have to do anyway at some point. 2026, all of a sudden, you're looking at 3-4 first-round picks, extra, day 2 picks, a cleaner cap, an opportunity to really jumpstart a rebuild ahead of the stadium, if that's what this is all about. And signing Myles to that $40 million contract, I mean, he's worth it. Like, he's worth more than that probably. But, I mean, you went 3-14 last year, and Myles had a great season. He might have been the defensive player of the year if you had a few more wins. I don't know where they're going. And now you look at this roster, Bo. I mean, what are they doing at defensive tackle right now?
Well, to answer your question, I think the reason that obviously the reason they did it is because he is a foundational best defensive player, best non-quarterback conversation guy in the league. So that's the reason they did it. The other factor that people forgot about this was it was just so punitive for them to trade him in terms of the hit that they would take, which gets me back to the question we just discussed in terms of the middle class, because they did what you just described the last time. That's how they got Myles, right? That's how they got Bake. That's how they got Denzel, right? They did what you just described, and it's netted them 1 playoff win over a decade. So that's I guess that's my overarching part about what I've seen in free agency, and I think it's a major shift in the National Football League from what it was a decade ago or even 5 years ago, which was going to the bottom is brutal, and it's painful, and it does real damage between you and your fan base. And I think the reality is, man, I don't want to go back there. That's brutal. So if you can be 8-9 and play meaningful games in December and try to find a quarterback who you stumble into, because it's as much of a crapshoot in the middle of the first round as it is at the top. There are no sure things, to your point. Wouldn't bet anything on Cam Ward. I'm not that confident in him. He's not Andrew Luck, So that's the other part of it is I think that, to answer your question, I think that's the thinking there is we can't go back to that because all that netted us, we did it, and it netted us 1 playoff win.
That's fine, Bo. I think you're closer to the bottom than you are to the top, regardless of what you do.
I agree, and there's no doubt about that. And until you get that quarterback, you're perpetually in that middle class. I mean, Justin Fields, you could have had for a bucket of balls. And we love Justin around here. Saved a season in 2020. You could have had him for a bucket of balls last year. He got $30 million guaranteed. Sam Darnold could have been had for a bucket of balls. He got $100 million. These teams do not want to go to the bottom anymore, bud.
Yeah, I think that I would rather have 3 or 4 first-round picks in 2026 than be 7-10 next season.
I'm with you, but we're not the ones
look at it.
Who are living it, That's the hard part, is the folks who have to live it. You've been at those games when you know it makes more sense to lose than to win, and you wouldn't know it if you're in the building.
True.
They want to win. They're going, here we go, Brownies in the fourth quarter. In a one, you go, God, if you lose this, you're picking second. If you win, you're picking fifth. You got to lose. But when you're in the building, you want to win.
Well, what's the best case scenario at this point for this team in terms of? For
me, it would be. Go ahead.
I mean, can they win 9 games? I don't know if they can win 9 games.
I don't know.
And again, like if your best case scenario is maybe you win 9 games and maybe you're like in the playoff conversation in late December.
Yeah.
That's your best case scenario. Then I think you've answered your own question.
And that is what you just described, though, buddy, is about 11 teams.
Yeah. I don't want to be one of those 11 teams.
I don't either. But and I'm with you. Like, I would do what you did, but it's not my pound of flesh, if that makes sense. Like, I'm with you. I would go, give me the picks, give me as many at-bats as a quarterback. I'd take a quarterback at 2. I'd take another one in the 3rd round. I'd never stop trying to acquire them. I would do all of that. I'm with you, but it's not my pound of flesh with the loser.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this roster right now. You've got, in your front 7, you've got Miles, and I don't know what else you have right now. You look at the receiver position, you've got Jerry Jeudy, and I don't know what else. You've got, I mean, you might have the worst running back room in the NFL at this point, and like, let's not even get started at quarterback. And you're banking on a lot on the offensive line that has some question marks after a really disappointing season. I mean, and then you look at Baltimore, you look at
you can't think
look
about
at
them.
Cincinnati, you look at even Pittsburgh. I mean, it's just, what is the path? I don't see it, and I think that it's not just quarterback now. I think they've got so many holes at this point that, you know, barring like one of the best drafts in franchise history, I mean, you're looking at 5-12 right now.
Yeah. That's all of what you're saying is true. It's a monster of an off season, but I think philosophically there's just a change that we've seen around the league that also can't be ignored. I'm with you though. Trust me. I want quarterback at 2, and I take 4 of them if that's what it takes. Like, they have got to hit that position, because one thing we know for sure, my friend, if you have a quarterback, then you don't worry about any of this nonsense.
Jaden Daniels, that's the path. CJ Stroud, that's the path.
Good talking to you, buddy.
But you better get it. You better get that. Otherwise, yeah.
All right, pal. Talk to you soon.
Tebow.
There he goes. Jake Trotter, senior college football writer at ESPN on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We play Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
The Ohio State Coaches Daily Show is brought to you locally on the Fan by Credit Union of Ohio.
This is the Daily Show with Jake Diebler, brought to you by Encova Insurance. Iowa's your opponent in the Big Ten tournament. What do you recall about the first game of the Hawkeyes, Jake?
Well, a little different because Owen Freeman's out, and obviously he was really impactful in our first game. But, you know, it's been Sanford and Dix for them for now. It feels like a long time with their ability to score from all levels on the court. It makes you be really, really tough and have high-level awareness off the ball with all their motion offense. And then we need to take advantage of transition opportunities and keep them from getting transition opportunities.
Yeah, we have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Jake, as you enter postseason like this in the Big Ten tournament, it's a good thing to have this to deal with, but for the coaches, dealing with quick turnarounds, whether it's film, getting things passed down to the players, that's got to be a real challenge, but also a challenge that this coaching staff looks forward to.
Yeah, we got a great staff with a ton of experience who's been in conference tournaments, many years, and we've got a good cadence to the workload to make sure that we're prepping for one game at a time, but also we have guys on staff that are advanced scouting, getting us ready for that quick turnaround, when we're able to get a win in advance. So it takes a collaborative effort and everybody really owning their space, to the best of their ability.
Okay, this is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, basketball fans, Credit Union of Ohio wants to help you score more by making life more affordable. It's time to play with a team that helps you win every day. Credit Union of Ohio's loan rates have dropped to provide affordable financing for the things you want and need. It's time to reevaluate your current loans and consider refinancing with a team that cares about you. Check out current specials and get started scoring more money at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island. Next on Metro's Nada Yada Island podcast.
I almost fainted when the 4 new bombshells arrived. 4 free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G phones at Metro.
No way.
And finding out the 4th line is free. Oh, things got heated.
That's wild. Join Metro and get 4 free Samsung 5G phones. Only at Metro.
Plus tax. Bring 4 numbers and an ID and sign up for any Metro Flex plan. Not available currently at T-Mobile or been with Metro in the past 180 days.
At NJM Insurance, we like to think of ourselves as a symphony. We start with a foundation of doing the right thing. Then we layer in dedicated reps, whose priority is you. Add in excellent discount programs. And last, but certainly not least, we put our policyholders first. And the reason we don't use jingles or mascots is because it's just not us. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a First Friday edition. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
On Tuesday, Ohio State's Bruce Thornton was named second team All-Big Ten by both the coaches and the media. Thornton's the first Buckeye since E.J. Liddell to get at least second team All-Conference honors. Purdue's Braden Smith was named Big Ten Player of the Year by both the league's coaches and the media. Smith joined Zach Edey as the Boilermakers' third consecutive Player of the Year in the conference. Thing or not a thing?
Cool thing for Bruce. Certainly well-deserved. He carries about as much as anyone can carry or does carry in the league. It's amazing what has to happen between him and Mobley and inevitably Devin Royal. But what those three guys have to do on a night-in, night-out basis for Ohio State to win is pretty wild. So I think it's really deserved. I also think that for Bruce, in terms of the way that he's remembered here, he's got to get to the tournament. And he hasn't done that yet. It's not all on him, but he's been given the keys to the basketball vehicle for now 3 straight seasons, and I think it's time to get into the dance. So I think there's a little bit of pressure tonight to kind of get to that point.
It's a very cool thing for Bruce. I think it's a very sad thing for the Ohio State basketball team that the past 3 years you haven't had a first or second team player in the conference. I mean, this used to be all the time. You had guys battling for Player of the Year, and unfortunately, that's just not the case right now for the Buckeye basketball team.
You know, it's not hard. I mean, it is hard to acquire the talent, but if you don't have the talent, this is what you get, which is the bubble. So it's an observation that you kind of take for granted. Like the idea that you used to have 3 or 4 guys on the all Big Ten teams, and now you got one. There just isn't the talent on this roster the way that there used to be, and now well over a decade ago.
Along with the madness that's going to culminate on Sunday with Selection Sunday, LIV Golf's in Singapore this weekend.
Oh, baby.
You can watch it on Fox Sports if that's something you're interested in. Earlier today in a news conference before the event, Brooks Koepka says he's committed to LIV Golf despite Fred Couples' recent comments that he was unhappy playing in the golf league and wants to return to the PGA Tour. This from Koepka this morning, quote, "I've got a contract obligation out here to fulfill, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know where I'm going, so I don't know how everybody else does." It's believed Koepka's contract runs through the 2026 LIV Golf season. Earlier this month, Couples told a Seattle radio station that Koepka, quote, "wants to come back. I believe he really wants to come back and play the PGA Tour," end quote. Thing or not a thing?
Oh, I think it's a thing, and I don't think Fred Couples, he's not someone who has a reputation of going off half-cocked and saying stuff recklessly, so if he's saying that out loud, there's probably something to it, and I think it's pretty obvious, like, for a lot of these guys. I think John Rahm, remember John Rahm on the tee box, and the music's playing and people are bouncing around, and you can see the frustration, but that's what the money was for. They took all the money. So this is what you got to do, is you got to play in Singapore and you got to play in these places and fly in your private jets and live your life. But at the same time, if you're looking for competitiveness in traditional golf, it's just not what it is. So I'm sure there is a little bit of buyer's remorse for all of them until they get home and log in to their Charles Schwab accounts or whoever and see what's sitting in there. Up until that point, I'm sure there's a lot of regret.
Yeah, maybe Brooks wants to come back to the tour when his contractual obligations are up to play the best week in and week out. I don't think he's upset about his decision, though. His bank account will show that. I wonder what people in other countries, I wonder what their view of the LIV Golf Tour is. Obviously here it hasn't gone over. They haven't got the greatest TV deal and everything with where the money's coming from and how the tour, the people that run the tour. I still think this is one of the greatest misses in golf history, that they have not played into this and done a PGA versus LIV Ryder Cup type event.
PGA doesn't want to validate them.
I understand.
So that's why they won't. But yeah, I mean, it would have a great deal of interest to it. I think what's going to be interesting is, remember the PGA Tour when those guys left said, well, you can never come back. Will they hold to that? Like, if he wants to come back after 2026, will they let him?
I think members of both parties, LIV Golf or the PIF and the PGA Tour, met with the president like at the end of January.
Yeah.
So I wonder if all it'll take is the PIF saying, well, no, they all, in fact, can come back to you because we own you.
Did that ever finish finalized, though?
I think it was
I think it's been hung up. I don't think it ever went all the way through.
But with a new administration,
who knows?
Maybe that thing changes a little bit. In an interview with Tom Verducci of Sports Illustrated, 3-time Cy Young winner Max Scherzer thinks teams should be penalized for pulling their starting pitchers early, barring specific circumstances. In his proposal, a pitcher would become qualified by completing 6 innings, throwing 100 pitches, or allowing 4 runs or more. Quote, the league has always wanted more offense. How do you get more offense? Just let the starters stay in for the 3rd time. We know it. Do you want more offense? Here you go. Just make the starter stay in. You'll get a more entertaining product. No one wants to see the starter go 5 innings, no runs, 75 pitches, and pulled because of the 3rd time through the order. End quote. Thing or not a thing?
Well, I love this. One of the things that annoyed me about baseball when I used to watch it a lot is how it was drifting towards this, oh, my God, 3rd time through the order. Oh, my gosh, what's the pitch count? Like, good Lord. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, you can have complete games. They're guys that are pulled in a no-hitter because of the amount of pitches thrown. Like, let's just bring some common sense back. So I'm with Scherzer on this. I'd be for this. Sign me up.
I like this, too. There's nothing that drives me more nuts than a pitcher that's pitching well and the manager pulls him out of the game just because the numbers say something is about to happen. And I understand the numbers are the numbers. That's usually the thing for a reason. But sometimes you just got to have a feel, right? Like sometimes somebody's just got it. and you got to let them write it out. I know there's a place for analytics in all sports, but I feel like they're followed too much and too closely, and it does drive me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, still time to get some Hey Guys questions in at 971BFS on the YouTube chat as well. The winner there going to get that $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. Get your officially endorsed as well in the final hour of the program. Adam Jardy going to join us at 11:30. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
An ex-jock and a very puffy, smooth-faced man. These are the first voices you should hear. Morning Juice. Your wake-up service.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Scott the Scots here. How did the grass feel when it woke up from winter? A little crabby. Get it? Crabgrass? Right now, there's a short window of time to apply Scott's Turf Builder Halt's Crabgrass Preventer. It stops crabgrass before it invades and feeds your lawn for a fast green up after winter.
Save up to $20 today at the Home Depot or Lowe's for Scott's day-long saving time. Offers valid March 6th through 19th. See store for full details and product selection.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keep making plans to learn more.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Big Ten men's tournament starts today in Indianapolis. It's one of 8 conference tournaments underway on Wednesday. Selection Sunday is 4 days away. The Buckeyes likely need a win tonight and maybe Thursday to get into the big dance. Ohio State plays Iowa tonight around 6 o'clock. It's their first round matchup in the Big Ten. We'll have Buckeyes, Hawkeyes on the fan with pregame coverage at 5 p.m. Winner gets Illinois Thursday in the second round. In the NFL, the new league year begins this afternoon at 4 o'clock. That's when free agents can officially sign with their new teams. And in the NHL, the Blue Jackets lost in New Jersey to the Devils last night 5-3. Columbus is back at Nationwide Thursday hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. Blue Jackets currently occupy that second wildcard spot in the East. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give Dr. Mark Levy's office a call at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Time for a little Hey Guys. Hit it, fellas.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
All right, winner here gets that $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank and the Distillery Tour and Tasting for up to 10 people. Home of the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running. Make your reservation right now at highbankco.com. Drink local, drink High Bank. Go ahead, Reese.
All right, we'll start on the social media platform known as X.
Yep.
Rand asks, hey guys, what's the maddest you've ever been at an athlete? Rand gives us the example of Desmond Howard when he hit the Heisman pose. While you think about that, I will say for all 4 years, I was always mad at Amir Williams at Ohio State.
Oh, God, him and Shannon Scott, like that era, that was tough. That was tough sledding, man. It was also tough because, Trey was at Michigan. Trey Burke was at Michigan. So
with a Columbus tattoo on his arm.
On the same team with Jarrett. Like, if anybody knew how good he was, it should have been them. I always made that argument. Most angry professional. I mean, there's no question my fandom, the most vitriol I've ever had towards any athlete or entity was the Boston Celtics, Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge and the 80s Celtics. Like, if I put myself into my mind's eye at that age, that the team that I loved the most as a kid was the Lakers, and all of my family loved the Celtics, and I hated the Celtics. And so that was the team that I hated the most, probably in my sports rooting interests. In terms of, I mean, it's pretty tough to stomach Harbaugh. That was pretty tough. You know, that last year was really tough to stomach that. So that would probably be the one that was tough, was how pious they behaved. And we all knew what happened behind the scenes, and they acted like, you know, how they were. And then they got to be Danny Ocean and get all the money too. So that was a tough one to watch.
I will say I was pretty mad at the Blue Jackets last night for not scoring another goal and causing my parlay to not hit. But, man, athlete is tough for me. I will say this. There have been, over the past decade, a lot of times I was pretty angry with the managers of the Cincinnati Reds, more specifically Dusty Baker and David Bell. I found myself cursing at the TV a lot at moves those two made.
We'll go to the YouTube chat for this one. Dustin asks, I'm breaking out the grill tonight. Besides just hot dogs and hamburgers, what would be your top choice for off-the-grill foods?
Okay, so I would just say that Bacon and I were talking about this in the break. I don't like grilling burgers because I'm usually grilling for a lot of people, and I find it very difficult to get them done correctly. So I prefer to take burgers inside on the griddle. Now, I know people say, well, get the Blackstone or get all of this. Maybe that would change it, obviously. Like, if I just went the griddle route out there, that would change it. But it's also labor-intensive with the burgers and the dogs. Like, you got to flip them. You got to keep moving. It's a tougher cook. I love cooking fish on the grill. I love doing lobster on the grill or king crab on the grill. I love veggies on the grill, like cut up a bunch of onions and potatoes and peppers and do those on the grill. I think they have an incredible flavor with olive oil, salt, and pepper that they give off if you do it that way. Corn on the cob on the grill I like a lot. So I pretty much grill year round. I mean, when we built, I built it right off of the kitchen, so it's 2 steps to the grilling porch, and I can get there. I'll grill in 20 degrees. I grill year round.
I use the grill a lot, too, year round. I thought it was interesting, Bo, that you don't have the Blackstone. You talked about the veggies. The veggies are very easy and great to do on the Blackstone.
Yeah.
I love a chicken on the grill. You said fish. I'm surprised you did. I love fish on the grill as well. And I'm shocked. Maybe the correct answer, by the way, is a ribeye. That's the best thing on the grill, right? That's the correct answer. But I love corn on the cob from the grill.
So
wrap
good,
it up
isn't it?
in a little wrap it up in some aluminum foil with the salt and pepper and butter and maybe even a little sugar in there, and nothing is better than a piece of corn on the cob off the grill.
I'm with you. That's a win. Veggies on the grill always win.
Josh asks via Twitter, "Hey guys, you're on a road trip. What's your go-to snack and drink from the gas station?"
This is a great question.
It's great. All right, Josh. As you're reading the question, the first thing that came to my mind was, and I guarantee you, even now, I'm a man and I'm in my 40s, the road trip drink snack combination that I have had the most in my life, and I haven't had it in 20 years. I don't even know if these 2 products still exist, but it was a peach Nestea and barbecue David sunflower seeds. I had that. It was 4 hours from school to my home, and I would that drive for 4.5, 4+. It always started with a peach Nestea, a bag of David barbecue sunflower seeds, and then I would take an empty cup to spit the seeds into from the gas station. We would fill up, and that was the routine every time. I still say, I don't even know if peach Nestea still exists. My hunch is it doesn't. I haven't seen barbecue David sunflower seeds in a long time either. Those are still my all-time favorite. And I still think seeds are undefeated. I think they're the best road trip food. To keep you busy, keep you awake if you're trying to stay up, and keep you going, they win.
I think it's the brand Biggs has a smoky bacon sunflower seed.
They do.
It's the best seeds I've ever had in my life. So I made a road trip to Uricksville Friday night, and I'm going to Dayton this weekend and next weekend. Guaranteed in my car will be the biggest Fountain Mountain Dew you can get from the gas station, a bag of cheddar cheese pretzel combos, because I think that's the only combo there should be, quite frankly, and a big thing of Starburst, whether they're the regular or the Fave Reds. Those 3 things are always in my car on a road trip.
What do you got, Reese?
Sunflower seeds and an energy drink. Usually it's the white Monster.
Yeah.
Because that, I think, doesn't turn your insides neon green. Because if it goes in, it's got to come out. So you're drinking a little bit less on longer road trips. Because, again, you never know when you're going to be able to get out and relieve.
We're not pulling over till it's time to get gas. Let's go.
So
keep going.
I'm so excited for spring because it's like seed season. I am a seed guy watching lacrosse. When the boys played baseball, when I coached baseball for them, I was constantly seeds. I can't wait to get back into seed season.
The golf course, seeds.
Oh, God. They're undefeated. They're perfect.
Matt asks in the YouTube chat, "Hey, guys, going on a spring break vacation in Gulf Shores in a big house with 8 adults and 10 kids, counting my own. I love all these people, but is it possible to after it's all over?"
No. Nope. Not all of them. Not all of them. My wife springs this on me from time to time. Hey, what do you think about doing spring break with a bunch of families in a big house? It's just not my bag, baby. It's just, I need to have a little bit of getaway. I think maybe you could do it with what did he say? Did he say 8 families or 8 adults?
He said 8 adults, 10 kids.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 families. That's Gulf Shores, Alabama. There's some monster houses down there that are gorgeous. I think as long as each adults have their own wing, and then I think my other advice to you would be make sure that not everything is together. Go do a lunch with your family, go do a dinner with your family. If you're going down there, you're going to the beach, and you're going to go play golf. So you're going to have plenty of time with all the other families, but try to carve out a couple of nights for your family, too, to create a little separation.
So every summer we take our trip to Florida, and there is a handful of families. All of us go the same week together and meet up down there. But we all have our different rooms. And it's nice because you can just go in there and get away if you need to. A lot of times we'll all go out to dinner together, but you don't have to. So it's definitely you got to have some space somehow. Whether that's a walk on the beach by yourself, Matt, or just you and the wife, or just a little alone time where you guys can go watch a show for a half hour or something. You got to be able to get away.
The other key to that whole operation is going to be the kids. Like, are they all copacetic? I think young kids tend to be less dramatic, but once you get into middle school, it starts to be a little bit of drama there. So I think the kids are going to have to set the tone as well, Reese. Go ahead.
All right, finally, I'll get this from Ace in the YouTube chat. Hey, guys, what's your favorite place your parents took you out to eat as a child? He notes that he's a total 90s kid, and 90s Pizza Hut, he says, was undefeated.
90s Pizza Hut was unbelievable.
So good.
It was unreal. Now, I assume the food's the same, but the experience is not. I try to tell my kids, like, when I was a kid, going to Pizza Hut we're going out to dinner. Like, put on something nice. It was dark. Those red cups, the incredible ice. The pie would come in the pan still. Oh, that was unbelievable. The salad bar was ready to rock and roll. What an exciting time. Who loses there? To answer the question, so that's undefeated. I feel like that experience is now gone. I don't know if they even still have them like that anymore. So for me, it was I remember this. It was a place called the Black Angus, which I didn't, of course, we were going to eat at the Black Angus. But it was a place in Great Falls, Montana, and it was called the Black Angus, and it was giant A-frame. It was huge, and it was A-frame. And as a little kid, it was dark. They had those great booths that were circular, but that had huge, huge walls, so you had, like, complete privacy in them. And I remember going in there as a kid, and to me, it felt like I was walking into a castle, and then the ceiling felt like it was 100 feet in the air. And so and they had a salad bar too, which is a big thing for my parents. They loved a salad bar. But then you get it wasn't very often, but when we did, that's the place that jumps to mind.
So, Bo, there are a few retro Pizza Huts coming back. Pizza Hut is actually making some of those, and I think that's pretty cool. That was one of the places that came to mind for me, especially this time of year, because you remember Pizza Hut always used to have the March Madness basketballs, whether it be mini or full size. You could get one of those, so that was always good. The other place we would go a lot when I was really young, because they would give you, if you had a good report card, they would give you a free meal or whatever, was GD Ritzy's. That was always a good time. And then the other one to me was Ponderosa. You go to Ponderosa and you get the buffet and the steak tips. That was always a fun time. So those were the three I remembered right away.
It's been about 20 years for me since I've eaten at a Tommy's Pizza. But going there on like a Friday or Saturday night was always a treat because they also had like the giant, their cups, their red cups were about the same material, but they were slightly bigger than what Pizza Hut was offering. Yeah. But it was also funny, like the Tommy's on Lane was right across the street from the Pizza Hut buffet, so you couldn't really go wrong.
Man and Bone doing the pizza challenge right now. It's so crazy, like how spoiled all of you guys were who grew up here, how many options you had.
Yeah.
Where I grew up for pizza, you had two. There was a place called The Keg in Conrad, Montana, where you could get like their pizza and Pizza Hut in Great Falls. That was it. There was no other pizza options. And obviously we have a great many pizza options. Man, those are good. Those are really good. I think I'm going to go Josh. Josh on the road. Was he the road trip one?
He was.
And I think an unrelated Josh tweeted, "You were literally me. David barbecue sunflower seeds are undefeated. Still finishes a pack a week. Great for driving. Sheets and Speedway have them." So, yeah, there you go. All right. So, Josh, congratulations. You get the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank and the Distillery Tour and Tasting for up to 10. Stop by High Bank's 3 locations, Grandview, Gahanna, Westerville. Enjoy their award-winning spirits for your next happy hour and make your reservation at highbankco.com. Drink local. Drink High Bank. A big birthday for us here locally. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Colin Man here for Universal Windows Direct. You know what's better than new windows? A new window from Universal Windows Direct that's on sale. It's the tax time sale. You save big while making your home comfortable and energy efficient. You buy 2 windows, you get 2 free. Plus, you pay no interest till 2030. Plus, you get an extra $500 off your home improvement project in March only. Schedule your free home estimate today, 614-502-5220, universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
If you're like most Americans, you've racked up tens of thousands in credit card debt. You're stuck with 20% interest fees and even the monthly payments, well, they're hard to make. It's insane. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. The good news is that there is a way out. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending. They specialize in fast, easy access to the equity in your home. Most homeowners have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their home equity. That's your money. AFLcash.com can get it out for you with zero junk fees and zero hassle. You can pay off all those credit cards in just a matter of days. Pay off your car loans too. Cut your monthly expenses by $800 or even $900. I'm telling you, the relief you need, well, it's right there at your fingertips. AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Break out of the credit card debt prison with AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Fish has been named the third best sports program director in the country. Winner. The two dudes who finished ahead of him are dead. So we're declaring him the winner. You're listening to the home of champions, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
As I travel the state talking with parents and educators, it's clear that just about everyone, regardless of political affiliation, zip code, or background, wants our students to have the resources they need to succeed. No exceptions. Tell your Ohio lawmakers to keep their promise to our students and fully fund our public schools in this state budget.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, another beauty of a day today. Sunny skies, highs around 70. You will notice a few more clouds creeping in this afternoon. Tonight's low 43. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 70. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
You know, you never know what you're going to learn over the course of a day. But what I learned today is that Ryan Day and my middle brother, Tucker Earl Bishop, are born on the exact same day. Same day, same year. Exactly the same. Did not know that. Not that I wouldn't know it. But happy birthday to Coach Day. Happy birthday to my brother Tuck. Same day, same year. So Coach Day turns 46 years young today. It was so cool seeing him last week during the availability. It's been so cool to hear about him on the Buckeye Cruise, to see him on the late night circuit, to see him do the media and stuff, because I think what it did, it reaffirmed that you can be a really good person and win at the ultimate level, and that you can persevere through toughness. And certainly that Michigan thing is going to be there till it's not. But to be able to bounce back the way they did from that low to win the ultimate prize and to be able to have his flowers. I've said this about Coach Day, and I stand by it. He's as good a dude as you're going to find. He's just a really good human being. Like, there's not a whole lot of jerk in him. He's a good family man. He's everything you'd want representing the operation. And for somebody who's that good of a person to also manifest the ultimate prize, it ought to make you all feel happy and feel proud. And so, yeah, happy birthday to Coach Day today. He turns 46. And you just felt it. I mean, they start spring practice we're 5 days out now from the start of spring practice. And there's just, I kind of sensed, fellas, like a new lease on life for him over the last month. And it makes sense. It makes all the sense in the world. But a giant weight lifted off his back by finally knocking it down and getting into that club as a national champion.
I never thought I would see the day Ryan Day would be on with Colin Cowherd, like in a casual conversation.
Yeah.
There he was. And the media tour that he's done, I don't think an Ohio State coach has ever done. I don't know if there are a lot of college football coaches out there that would do it that are currently in the game. And I don't know how many college football coaches out there, while they were currently coaching, would go on something like he did, where it was every evening show. It was Kelly Clarkson. Anybody that would have him, he spoke on this run. He spoke on the legacy it leaves, and he spoke on Ohio State. Like, that's someone who understands the gravity of his performance and the place that he's at. And to put as many eyeballs as you can on the product, honestly, it makes everybody more money. Because the more eyeballs you get, the better everybody does. It also brought up an interesting conversation, or I don't know if this was the genesis of it, but he had a camo Ohio State hoodie.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I saw where Man and Bone were having the conversation that if Man would look good in camo. And then I thought to myself,
go ahead.
I don't think camo is now fashion.
Here's where I am with it. This is where I am with camo. I think if you're non-military, you can do it, and I think Mike can thrive in it, so long as it's not that camo. Like the camo Ryan Day was wearing that's probably some sort of military appreciation or something like that. That camo is like, oh, we're going to Vietnam camo. And I don't think you can wear the Desert Storm camo. Like, we're going to go fight in the desert. But I think Mike could absolutely wear black camo. I think he could wear blue camo. I have both of those. He could rock both of those, and no worries is all. And I've even seen like some gray camo, like a white light gray camo. All of that I'm for. But I think when you cross over into if I wear this, I could also be dropped into behind enemy lines, then that's something where I think that's the threat. For me, at least, that's something you're never going to see me in green camo. You're never going to see me in brown camo.
But I feel like sometimes you and I get redundant because I don't like the army fatigue camo. Like, I don't want to wear that, but you give me some dark gray camo or some black camo, I'm all in on that. I think it's interesting, too, like you're talking about the media tour that Ryan Day went on. And I remember us playing stuff from him on Jimmy Fallon in the Tonight Show. And it just... such a stark contrast, from when that was to 2 months earlier when he's standing on the field with a lost look on his face as everything is unfolding with the flag planting at the center of the shoe and the kerfuffle that happened between the players. And it just goes to show you that even at your lowest of low points, everything can turn around in a nanosecond, and you can be at the pinnacle.
What he kept saying? He kept saying this is how you write the story. if you don't win it all, you can't write the story. It's forgotten. You had to win it all.
I wonder if you injected him with truth serum and you asked him to go back to that day on the field as Michigan was trying to plant a flag and as Jack Sawyer's being restrained by an assistant, if he thought he was going to lose his job.
I don't think he was thinking like that. I think knowing him a little, not great, but Dom would know him best of the folks that contribute around here. I would say that he was in such shell shock of how did this happen? That's what it seemed like to me. It just seemed like it was like, once whatever. My theory on that game is always going to be, and yes, what a birthday gift we are giving him to relive the Michigan game. My theory on that game is always going to be Will got dinged. He wasn't himself. They didn't trust Devin to go do it, and they thought that they could massage a win over Michigan and win 17-10. And they didn't. But I think their margin for error shrunk to nothing with the Howard injury, and then I think they coached in a way that was ultra conservative to try to find a way to massage a win. That's kind of what I think happened on that front. Is a little bit of that.
I don't think he was Hulk smashed through the playoff without that moment, though, either.
No, I agree. I think one begat another. I think there was something liberating to everyone against us. Let's go prove everybody wrong. I do think there was some real. I do think that part of it was very real. I do think that anytime you see camo gear, so if you were to put it on the poll, would you rather have the camo hoodie? We don't need to do this, but just hypothetically, the camo hoodie that he was wearing in that presser.
I just want to see what it looked like.
It looks good. I mean, it's the green one, though. It's not gray. I mean, a black one would have been unbelievable. But a black or gray camo would have been unbelievable. And they kind of wore, the one uniforms they wore were kind of gray camo. Remember those Wolf ones they wore at Michigan? Those kind of had like a gray camo to them. Those were pretty clean as a one-off. I wish they wouldn't wear them in the Michigan game, but I thought they were kind of cool as a one-off. But that hoodie, or I think the best gear I've seen those guys wear are the hoodies they got at the Rose Bowl. The ones that had the rose intertwined on the with the Ohio State logo. And I've seen those nowhere.
I think I keep going back to I think they were a custom job because you can buy the sweatshirt itself. And so I think Ohio State got a bunch of those sweatshirts and then just put the numbers of the players on them. I think we've even had a couple listeners say that they got them and did a similar embroider, but it was like
they
block
embroidered them.
Well, however they wanted to put the logo. I mean, you can embroider it. You could get the logo like scanned. There's a bunch of different ways to skin that animal, but add the other logo next to the rose on the Nike. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if this is, this is kind of like Bad Boy streams, but like I just Googled it, and there's a site that pops up that shows the hoodie that's got the Rose Bowl logo on one hand, on one arm, National Championship logo on the other, the Buckeye on the chest, and then the Nike with the rose kind of wrapped around the Nike swoosh. So it's $110, but my hunch is I would think it's a knockoff. Or what you're suggesting is you buy that Nike hoodie and then you embroider the rose around it. That's what you think happened?
I think, well, no, you buy the Nike hoodie itself, has the swoosh with a rose around it, and you embroider the Ohio State logo.
Oh.
And I even think there's Etsy shops that'll do that for you.
Okay. All right. Well, there's anything you want on the internet if you can find it. It's all there. All right. So happy birthday, Coach Day and my brother Tuck. Good job out of you. Big one for the Buckeye basketball team tonight. Adam Jardy over in Indy getting set to cover it. What is the minimum requirement? What does he expect to see tonight? It's in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Sometimes you don't realize something was bothering you
until it's gone.
That's how you're going to feel
after we work our magic at your house.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Hi, this is Ron from the Good Feet store. Are you standing on painful feet all day? Don't lose hope. We want to help you live without pain. Discover your options and visit goodfeet.com. Or stop in today at the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway in Grove City.
What does living your best nonstop life mean to you? Cheering on your team at that big game? A music festival with friends? A family vacation? Or maybe a vacation from your family? Live your best nonstop life with low fares and nonstop flights only at Allegiant.com.
Non-stop flights from Columbus to Fort Lauderdale, one way for as low as $44. Must be purchased by 4/24/2025 for travel between 3/13/2025 and 8/17/2025. Seats and dates are limited. Restrictions apply. See Allegiant.com for details.
March is on at Lindsay Honda. Shoot your shot and save. It's madness. You get to choose your finance rate on over 600 new Lindsay Hondas. 0%, 1.9, 2.9, and up to a full 60 months long. And no trade-in required. This deal works with zero down. March is on at Lindsay Honda. Save with rates as low as 0% at lindsayhonda.com.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time to down on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Perspective on the Buckeyes game tonight against Iowa over in the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis. We are joined by our good buddy Adam Jardy, covers the Buckeyes at the Dispatch, and he joins us there. I am told you are en route. How far into the route are you?
I just got on 270. I got a little ways ahead of me.
Boy. All right, so you got Frogger to look forward to once you get into the Indiana line where they just say blanket. We love potholes here. You also are going to – now, when's the last time you were on that road?
Just last weekend driving back from the game at Indiana.
Needless to say, they changed a little bit in terms of the businesses right at the Indiana state line. I'm sure you took notice of that along with the billboards.
I did. There was a quite strange billboard right below a giant cross, and I thought this is quite the juxtaposition of America right now.
It really is. It's got everything you need right there. All right, let's get to it, buddy. Must win, right?
Yes. Yeah. I even saw this morning, Lenardi at ESPN had his bracketology update. He said Ohio State's his last team in right now, and with a loss, they will get past. A win doesn't guarantee that they're in by any stretch, but it keeps them alive. It might be enough to squeak them in. But the whole conversation is moot if they don't win tonight.
What type of, as you've been around him and you've been around Jake and some of the availabilities as this season has gone down, how is he handling kind of the pressure that comes with that? Because I think we can all acknowledge that making the tournament was kind of the minimum requirement this year.
Sure. Yeah, I think he's handled it pretty well, to be totally honest. I mean, the team doesn't seem overly tight, tense, playing I think back to the last 2 years where things were really kind of falling apart, at various points of those two seasons. And, you kind of got a sense of doom and gloom and dread, the longer you had conversations with people as the season went on. I don't really feel that with this team. They've done a pretty solid job, I think, of embracing the fact that they have things to play for. And, yeah, they're not where exactly they'd like to be, but these games are meaningful. They've been playing meaningful games now for a while, and that you want to win them and you want to get in the tournament, but this is where they had hoped to be in March, playing meaningful games. I think they'd like the stakes to be a little bit higher, or maybe a little bit lower, I guess. Yeah. You don't want to be, do or die every game at this point. But I think they're in mentally a pretty decent place, and I think they're excited about the opportunity to go out and you earn what you earn, and they have a chance to do that now.
These two teams played not too long ago. It's probably the best stretch of play that Ohio State had all season long. It was part of that 3-game winning streak that was the highlight of it was really winning at Purdue. It was coming off of 3 heartbreaking losses by a total of 5 points combined, and you wondered, boy, is this season going to be lost in January? It was not, and this was part of that stretch. In terms of what you expect to see from this team tonight, and by the way, new lease on life for Iowa as well, what type of competition level do you expect out of the two teams tonight, and what stylistically does Ohio State have to do to get that win that is so needed?
Yeah, it's really fascinating because there's also part of me that's wondering if this is the last game we're going to see Fran McCaffrey coaching at Iowa. Now, I know he said that he wants to be back. He plans on being back. I don't know that is entirely mutual. It feels like things have kind of gotten stale there. So, is Iowa playing for its coach to extend his career? I don't know. That's kind of a weird wrinkle to this game, too. I think, stylistically, when these teams played last time, you're right. Ohio State was playing a really inspired stretch of basketball, and Iowa still had Owen Freeman, who's like their be-all, do-all down low, Big Ten freshman of the year last year, I believe, just an all-around really solid player. And he's out. He had a season-ending injury, so they've had to kind of readjust and change how they play on the fly. So really, it ends up becoming a matchup that you would think is favorable for Ohio State, because this isn't a team that's going to pound you down low. This isn't a team that's really going to make its living in the paint. So if Ohio State can match up on the perimeter, make some shots, that feeds into what this Ohio State team does best. So also Iowa's really bad defensively. They're 130th, 140th nationally in defense. So you like your chances as Ohio State in a matchup like this, just based on the profile that Iowa presents.
Speaking about Bruce Thornton, and you've been there for all of his games since he's been a Buckeye. He was, as a freshman, kind of given the keys and said, let's go, buddy, go drive it. And he's into year 3. He was a second-team All-Big Ten. I said earlier in the show, Adam, that I think as much is required of him as anybody in the league in terms of, like, if he's not great, you really just don't have a chance at all if you're Ohio State. When you think about his career to this point, and certainly we anticipate there will be a 4th season here, and there will be more to add to this, but when you think of Thornton specifically, because he's kind of the one constant from Holtman now into Diebler, what has that ride been like, observing him over these 3 years?
It's been interesting to see him just step into that role of just like, all right, I'm going to lead, and we got to go. We're going to get where I can take them, and being able to put the team on his back and do things. He's really grown in that area. I do think back, like, he had a freshman year game against Rutgers at home that Tanner Holden hit a shot that shouldn't have counted, but it did, and it was a great night. He played like the entirety of that game and just really ground out a physical, tough win against Rutgers. And I just thought, like, that there's some really special stuff ahead for this guy. I think the next step right now for him, because the individual stuff is there. I think, if he's back next season, he's a first-team all-league player. He might be preseason player of the year. I mean, he's in line for all that stuff. He could go down as the number 1 scorer in Ohio State history. Like, he has that he's on that trajectory. The thing is, he hasn't won. And that's not just on his shoulders, but like when we talk legacy at Ohio State, I mean, you know this as well as anybody, like, there has to be a winning component to it. And they just haven't done that yet. That's part of why I think this team finding a way into the tournament, even if it's Dayton, even if it's the first 4, I think it's so critical for so many reasons. And one of them is that Bruce Thornton's got to get to the NCAA tournament for all the other things he's done individually.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think there's so many facets to this, Adam, that are critical. The Thornton part of it is critical. Guys like Devin Royal and John Mobley provided in this day and age, who knows who's all back, but obviously you'd expect those guys to be back, and them, like, kind of getting to feel it. And then also, it's not lost on any of us, I don't think, that, the Ohio State championships in basketball are coming up. Some of these kids that are playing for state championships are kids that are either already committed or who you want desperately to commit or you want to be here. You've got these incredible prep talent in the state as well. All of these things, you just need some program momentum. And it's weird because I'm with you. You mentioned Dayton. Like, I think even that wins. If you got a Dayton game against Xavier, I think that wins too. So that's the thing that I think is why this one is. And I'm with you. I don't think this one's just enough. I think you might have to lock it in. You probably need to beat Illinois too, and that's a tall order. But there's a lot at stake tonight in Indy.
Yeah, and it would be nice, I think, just like when I talk to fans, when I talk to my readers, our texters, all the people that I interact with that follow this program, like, they're looking for joy. And, we've seen it in patches here and there, and we've seen good stretches, good wins, decent seasons. But, eventually that stuff, it just seems like it's been so long since Ohio State fans have been able to enjoy a sustained period of success. And getting to the tournament, I think that's a step that you need to make to get to that point, to where there is more of a sense of joy and of accomplishment and of positive momentum. And I do think Diebler has done it's been very he's made a point a couple of times this year to point out that, like, they're not paying for the sins of previous teams. This is a new era. This is a new regime. Like, we were asking him on Monday about the run this team made in the Big Ten tournament 2 years ago. And he was pretty quick to be like, different program, different era. Like, yes, I was on that staff, and yes, Bruce was on that team, but, like, that's not us. And so I do think it's not all on Jake Diebler. And the last however many years you want to say Ohio State has maybe wandered through the wilderness a bit, it's not just on Jake Diebler. It's his chance to try to turn it around. And I think getting to the tournament is a big step in that direction.
I love the sentiment there, but I also think when you are the guy who is the interim, it is a little bit fair or not, and I don't think it's fair. I think that's, for example, if Jake had never been here on the staff and he was hired fresh, then I think you can say I got nothing to do with that. But he was here, so I think for fans, I think that's why there's the carryover versus a brand new regime, if that makes sense.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah. 5.5-point favorites over there against this Iowa team. It's a must-win. We've said it. How do you think this thing eventually ends up tonight?
I mean, I can't lie. I woke up this morning with like a knot in my stomach. Like, I'm just not feeling super great about how this is going to go. But I say that, like, this team, by and large, has responded when it's been up against it this season. I mean, like you said, they had that stretch where the season was kind of falling apart. They lost those 3 by 5 games, and then they went 1 at Purdue. Like, I think this team knows what it has to do. It knows what it needs to take care of. And I believe in the toughness and the togetherness of this team. So even though like my gut waking up this morning isn't in the best place for Ohio State, I tend to think that, you know, we could be talking tomorrow about what do they got to do against Illinois.
Yeah. It's there's a lot on it. I'll get you out of here on this one. They're saying 6:13 tip time. Do you buy the over or the under?
I would take the over. Are you kidding me? this era of college basketball, we'll be lucky if it's 6:30.
I'm with you. Take the over always on tip times, my fan. Safe drive over there. Try to navigate the potholes best you can, and enjoy the scenery. God bless you.
I appreciate it, Bo. Thanks so much.
All right, there he goes. Adam Jardy covers the Buckeyes at the Dispatch on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Get your officially endorsed and 3 things coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Are you concerned with AMD? Now, protecting your eyes is easier thanks to New Nordic's Blueberry Eye Supplements. Available now at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com.
Bo Bishop here. High Bank Distillery Co. is the most awarded distillery in America at the 2024 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. Stop by your local liquor store to grab a bottle, or the 3 restaurant locations in Gahanna, Grandview, or Westerville. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
And if I may suggest a pairing, this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. The sweetness of Pepsi perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger, while the citrus and carbonation elevates the taste for a truly stunning flavor profile. Bon appetit.
Now that is one perfect combination. If this is how the other half lives, I could get used to this. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmelt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not...
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gertis?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex pros.
The pros who knows?
Those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gertis was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be me.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place. Wait, Leslie, what is that dude doing over there at that window?
Well, that dude is Chase, and Chase is making that window look perfect. We're sticklers on detail, Wilson, both in our showroom and definitely in people's homes.
Chase, be careful. May have spilled some coffee over there just a bit ago.
Oh, he knows. He seems to work a lot more when you're around, Wilson. Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus. at PellaColumbus.com.
At Bob's Discount Furniture, you get the lowest prices every day. Like our modular Bob, which configures to fit your family at just $250 each section. Sleep well on our game-changing mattresses like my highly rated Prize and news-making Treasure, and quality meets value with our Ellington dining set. Only $12.99 every day. No phony sales ever. When you get everyday low prices on the furniture of your dreams, there's only one thing to say. Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle and Market District. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting lower prices. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle. Experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle today to see how easy it is to save.
Remember all the time you spent with the family around the holidays? That crap is over. Put those feet up. March Madness is coming. From the first four to the final four. Catch all the action on The Fan and ESPN Columbus.
Leases on approved credit. No security deposit required. Tax, tags, title, and dealer fees extra. Ends April 1st.
I'm Rick Reichert. If the calendar says March and there's basketball on TV, it can only mean one thing. Markdown madness at number 1, Reichert Ford. Reichert Ford has sold vehicles to every state in the nation. And we'll sell you one too. Lease new 2024 F-150S TX for just $399 a month for 36 months. 0 down. Plus you get Reichert Ford's exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty, because we're dealing. Saving money is a slam dunk at Reichert Ford. Lease new 2024 Bronco Sport for just $399 a month for 36 months. 0 down. Plus Reichert Ford's exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty. It's madness. Markdown madness at the number 1 largest volume Ford dealer in Ohio, Reichert Ford. At Route 33 and Hamilton Road, 2 minutes off 270, and at ReichertFord.com. We're dealing.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Based on 2024 Ford report for total new retail sales. Cincinnati region. Leases on approved credit. No security deposit required. Tax, tags, title, and dealer fees extra. Ends April 1st.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what are you on the poll today?
The Daily Fan Poll is sponsored by Caster Connection. This Daily Fan Poll you can find at 971thefan on X or at 971thefan.com. And it asks who wins tonight's first round game in the Big Ten tournament between Ohio State and Iowa. 64% say Buckeyes, 36% say Hawkeyes.
Where are you guys at?
Buckeyes.
Yeah, I think the Buckeyes get it done today. Get to take on Illinois tomorrow.
It is interesting, and I think probably a commentary at just kind of where we are a little bit with the program that Adam talked there when we had him on. You can listen to that interview wherever you find your podcast, and then we'll put it up on the social channels as well. But like that knot in the stomach thing, that it's almost like we're now to the point with Buckeye basketball, and this is the thing Jake's got to dig out of. And I understand what Adam's saying there, and it is not fair for Jake to carry the weight of previous regimes in the last decade of Buckeye basketball around his neck, but he is so linked with it that it's a tough thing to just break free of. I don't think it's fair for him to have to, but this was a continuation. His hiring certainly was a continuation of a previous regime, and I think to a certain extent, Holton was a continuation of the previous regime. Obviously him and Thad didn't have any sort of lineage, but the Butler connection again, like it was, Gene went back to a well that worked so well for him, and let's run it back. And I think for a lot of Buckeye fans, fair or not, really everything the last dozen years or so kind of runs together. And that's the thing that he's got to break free of. And I think that's the thing where a win tonight, win tomorrow, who knows, against Illinois, and you get a little bit of momentum and get yourself in a position where you can be in the tournament and experience that and take advantage of this absurd amount of high school talent that is in the state of Ohio currently. The kids playing high school basketball in the state, it's loaded. But there's also, they missed out on Darren Peterson, obviously, but Jerry Easter's out there. There's a kid up at, what's the name of it? It's up in Northeast Ohio. Western Reserve's got a top 10 kid in the class of 2026. So there are all sorts of talented kids in the state that if they just see something to believe in, you can flip it quickly. And then you got to hit on your portal guys. But I do think it starts with program momentum tonight. And I think carrying that into next week and then getting into the tournament would be absolutely mammoth. All right, it's a First Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Hold on a second, Bo. I actually did not have that ready. That's on me here.
It's all right, buddy. Everybody needs a First Friday.
There we go. Here we go.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday. Officially endorsed because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
All right, the 70 degrees. I heard Rubishaw on the forecast for tomorrow. Perhaps time to start chasing the small ball. Start thinking about summer cocktails. A couple of years ago, before it became in vogue, I gave you the ranch water as a tequila golf course, fun, enjoyable. I'm going to give you I'm not a clear liquor guy much. But when I do drink a clear liquor, it's a High Bank vodka. I think they make the best vodka on the planet. And so I'm going to go with a Chilton. So this is a variation. It's also, of course, invented in Texas because, of course, it is. It's a variation of ranch water, except a little different. So if you have one of those medium-sized Yetis, fill it up with ice, go some High Bank vodka on the bottom of it, heavy lemon squeeze, not lemonade. You don't need all that sugar. So heavy lemon squeeze, and then sparkling water to finish. So that is your officially endorsed. Works well on the golf course, works well around the house when you're in need of a little bit of a pick-me-up on a cocktail front as well. You're officially endorsed on this fine First Friday. Time for 3 things.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
All right, number 1 for me. So I was doing my afternoon duties, and one of my wife's good friends called me while I was on the air and then started to text me. And the text said, Amy is sick. I've called the grocery store. I just wanted you to know that she's very sick, and I hope that she's all right. So I'm like, did she have a stroke? Did she pass out? Like, I mean, is this DEFCON 1? Like, where are we here? So I finally get to text my wife. She's like, oh my gosh, I have food poisoning. I'm fine, but I have food poisoning. So apparently it was such an extreme bout of food poisoning. She took 1 bite of chicken. And this, again, you got to really sell me on the buffet experience. She took 1 bite of chicken off of a salad bar buffet at a grocery store. No names, please. They did a good job. They responded well. 1 bite of chicken and could not get 10 minutes from the store without everything that happens with food poisoning coming to fruition. So I'd never seen one that extreme. But initially when I got the text, I thought, my God, am I going to have to go look for another wife? Like, what are we doing here?
You never, man.
Jeez.
Those are tough to trust.
That's a tough spot.
I'll just say that. Those are just tough. Those kinds of buffets are just tough to trust.
Be careful out there.
Am I going to have to go look for a new wife? Words I did not think I would hear
That's
today.
That's the promo right there. Regarding our Ohio State Rose Bowl.
Always got to be scouting.
Well, yeah, you
could leave me at any time.
Head on a swivel, can be used for more than just self-preservation. Regarding our Ohio State Rose Bowl hoodie discussion earlier, Chris in the YouTube chat says that he did it with the Rose Bowl hoodie. He bought it from Nike and then had the OSU logo on the other side of the chest. He bought the OSU emblem and then ironed it on.
This is crazy, but I actually have an embroiderer. So I wonder if I could I would just do like the Block O. That's the one I prefer anyway. So maybe that's the path if you can still get those Rose Bowl hoodies.
Bo, a famous coach around here, always said a pair and a spare, so I'm not sure what he was talking about.
Yeah,
but
always be ready.
15 years ago today, this happened.
David Lighty will be the inbounder from the back baseline. Inbounds Turner, left side of the backboard. Turner across the timeline, throws it from high on the right. He hit it, Evan Turner! He hit it just inside of half court! Evan Turner at the buzzer knocks down a long 3 from high on the right. You got to be kidding as Evan Turner hits a shot that everybody dreams of.
That is a moment that I will always remember where I was, who I was with, all of those things. And listening to that today makes me realize how much I miss Ohio State basketball being good.
So many, this will be my number 2. So many things were cool about that moment. I was doing the coaches shows at that time, so I knew those kids really well. I knew Coach Mata really well. The thing that was against Michigan. What I'll never forget is Thad Mata. That's what I'll never forget. is his reaction to that shot. And you're right. Man, March is fun when you're good. It's really fun when you're good.
Second thing for me from our discussion yesterday about the flat dom at Jersey Mike's, Jeff chimed in and said he was at the Jersey Mike's in Canal Winchester and saw a flat dom. So
gosh, they're everywhere.
There's several around the city of Columbus. Wednesday, March 26th, 100% of sales at Central Ohio Jersey Mike's will go to the Maria Tiberi Foundation.
Beautiful, beautiful. The flat thing came from Stern, right? It was Flat Ronnie? You had the Flat Ronnies? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Uncle Dom's birthday tomorrow, too. I'll have to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure
around
that
this
it
time,
is.
Yeah, he and I are both March.
Also from a discussion yesterday when we got into the manual cars and if you could drive one, it had me thinking about some of the cars I had through the years, and me and my buddies always used to give each other's cars silly names. Like my first car was an 84 Volvo. We called it the box car. Then I had a 92 rust-colored LeSabre. We called it the poop car. My buddy had a green Ford Probe, and we called it duck butter. And I'm trying to remember when we quit doing stuff like that, and do kids still do funny stuff like that and name their cars ridiculous names? I don't know, but those were good times.
They still talk in a ridiculous vernacular. I can't speak to if they're naming cars yet, but give NBC a couple years, then I'm guessing we'll have the answer to that question. Up against it a little bit. No time for three today. Go Bucks. Get a win tonight. That would be very, very nice and much, much needed. Enjoy your first Friday. Make sure you act accordingly. Rothman and Ice coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Are Men and Bone stupid in real life? Yes. Yes, they are. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Are you turning 65? Are you looking for Medicare Advantage coverage? Great news! The Ohio State Health Systems and Mount Carmel Health Systems are in our provider network. Aetna has Medicare Advantage plans that include prescription drug coverage with a $0 monthly plan premium. Plus, the plans include benefits like dental, vision, and hearing. Call Aetna today at 1-888-76-AETNA to learn more. One of our licensed agents will answer your call. Call today, 1-888-76-AETNA. Aetna Medicare is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Our D-SNPs also have contracts with state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal. Plan features and availability may vary by service area. Participating healthcare providers are independent contractors and are neither agents nor employees of Aetna. The availability of any particular provider cannot be guaranteed, and provider network composition is subject to change. Other physicians, providers are available in our network.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do, like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Transforming your land with a John Deere compact tractor is as easy as connect, latch, load, haul, spread. Cutting grass is as simple as roll, click, mow. Box blading is as effortless as hook, lock, grade. And backhoeing is as convenient as turn around, switch, dig. Because when you've got the versatility to tackle just about any job and dealer support in your own backyard, you just have to get in the seat. Find the right compact tractor for you at johndeere.com.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC.